hello everybody. Welcome back to Bilgewater Brawl. We are on day 2 of the streaming, which means we're on round 3 of the bracket. Currently, we are about to see the Rats play the Midwives. The Rats did have side select here and elected to choose red side. Gonna kick it off with some highlights of the players that are going to be participating in this game.
Should be a good match.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Avery versus Jeremy is actually the key matchup here. We talked a little bit about Jeremy yesterday. This is his first matchup, or I guess this tournament was the first time we're seeing any of his top lane. So we obviously have Avery on one side, 108 total top lane games, 2.93 KDA. And we're looking at Jeremy, who's only had one, but it looked pretty good. So what are you expecting to see from this matchup?
Uh, well, I think everybody kind of knows what Avery brings to the table. He's been super consistent for the whole past season, has a pretty good champion pool. So I think it'd be a good test for Jeremy because I don't think I've seen Jeremy's top lane, but every game that he's played in, just in general, he seems to do pretty well. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I will swap to our highlighted champions real quickly. What are we thinking for drafts so far with these lineups?
Um, I think both teams kind of have some like obvious pocket picks you might want to try to ban out. But I think a lot of, in a tournament like this, sometimes teams will just look at like what was popping off the previous game that they played. So I think both you can kind of do either or.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the Twitch you got to take off the table away from Stav. Uh, Apari, I know that Kane, the Evelyn are definitely up there as well. Hidiri Swain is another one that you could be looking at. And looking at the other side, I mean, Midwives is just such a tough team to ban against, right? Because Joel usually draws a bunch of bans, so does Hong, so does Cam, so does Avery, right? So you have to choose between these four players who you're really going to target. And kind of leading off that, we can go to our featured player for the Midwives, which is Hong Baba. Really impressive stats here. He's played 184 games overall, basically just a 3 KDA and a positive win rate over those games. Do you think any of these most played champions are going to get taken out? The Jinx has been banned away a lot, and we saw the Vayne once, and it was pretty disgusting.
I think depending on if the other team has a good idea of what kind of comp they want to run, then banning one of those could make a lot of sense. Like if you know you're going to have a comp that Vayne would be good into, you could get rid of that. If you think you're going to go for a team fight comp, you could get rid of Jinx just because that's one of the premier team, like for the enemy team to have. You don't necessarily want to be into a Jinx, so I think either could make sense if they knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Um, just going to take a quick look at Hidiri as well. He's much newer to the survey than Hong is, and he's actually beating him in games. Very dedicated player. Also, positive win rate. Has a bit of a lower KDA, but I think that could just be some of the position that he plays compared to Hong, who just gets all the resources and 90 different champions across those games, which is nuts. I think Hong was sitting at about 50. So I believe we can probably just kick it into draft unless you have anything else you
Let's
want
do
to go
it.
over first.
Uh, no, let's see it.
All right. So we are seeing the Evelyn and Kane banned away. Both Joel's champions taken off the table. Echo is left up for Cam, but we're seeing the Hecarim taken away. Avery's pool completely untouched here.
Yeah.
But it looks like they denied the Twitch as well as the Viego by choosing to just leave the Twitch up and first pick it. I'd expect Stav probably knows what matchups aren't great for him when he plays Twitch, so they might have some advantage there.
Yeah, this is definitely a strategy that Midwives has been using throughout this tournament so far. In one of their games yesterday, they triple banned mid like they triple banned jungle right now, and then they just threatened to first pick away kind of the pick that you would normally think had to get banned. And they've done it again to get the Twitch. So I think that's kind of exciting, but a little bit disrespectful because I don't think Twitch is that insane that he's that good of like a blind pick that early in a draft. So kind of challenging Stav to beat it, you know.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. I have a few picks that I love into the Twitch myself. Not going to necessarily leak those, but Nautilus and Echo are taken away. I think that makes sense. You're leaving the Echo up for Cam, but you're just going to grab it for yourself. Clearly, Apari pretty comfortable on these assassin-style junglers with 3 of them being banned out against him. He's just going to grab a third or a fourth one. And Jacob grabbing the Nautilus. Twitch usually paired with an Enchanter. The Nautilus should be doing a pretty good job of punishing that. The Silas Lux
Definitely.
grab from the other side, though, is pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I think Silas is just kind of like a decent, pretty good pick into Echo, so that's probably just what he opted for there. And then Joel's just been blind picking Lux or Zerath or Ziggs if you give him any of them, and Lux was the one that happened to be open this game, so I'm not really surprised that he went for that.
Yeah, I mean, I
What I
think.
would be, or sorry, I was
Uh,
gonna say what
go
I
ahead.
would be surprised about is the fact that they opted to pick Galio into the Lux. I don't necessarily think that's that great of a pick into Lux. Just I think that's kind of like she bullies any kind of low range champion, and something like Galio has even less of an opportunity to get onto her as maybe like an assassin would. So I'm just a little surprised about that.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm thinking immediately is the flex potential. You might think that it's Echo mid because I believe Hidiri played Echo mid earlier. So you might assume that the Silas is going mid into that, and Lux can still be flexed to support. But I think knowing the players on the other team, they kind of just dissolve the flex immediately. So they're just knowing that they're going to have a Silas in the game, regardless of whether it's playing into the Echo or not. But that Galio lock-in is telling me that I actually do think that they thought the Silas was going mid because Galio does really well into Silas and kind of just has a medium matchup into Lux. It's nothing special.
Yeah, I guess that could have been their read. If Kathy plays Deluxe, then I definitely think they could maybe have believed that. But
Yeah.
either way, I mean, I think Silas does counter Echo pretty hard, but in jungle, it's a lot less apparent than mid lane because you're not really forced to fight him as much. And if the Echo just moves around the map pretty well and makes plays elsewhere and then is able to generate some kind of a lead, then it's not necessarily as bad as it is when you're just stuck 1v1 against him when you're in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. We are skipping over the Draven pick, which we do want to talk about. That is the most aggressive counter into Twitch I could think of. Very fun champion to play, especially with the Nautilus. We've seen Jacob play well with Dravens in the past. It has not been Stav's Draven, though, so I'm excited to see that come up. I don't think it's the hardest counter, but it's definitely a pretty bold one. So it should be exciting. Looking at the bans, Avery does get hit, except I don't know if I agree with these choices. You're taking away Darius and Fiora. Normally you'd see like Riven and Yasuo taken away, so it's possible that Jeremy had some pretty solid ideas into those picks.
Yeah, it might be Jeremy doesn't have as huge of a top lane champion pool. I'm not really sure. And if that case, it could just be just ban the two champs that he really doesn't want to play against. But I mean, Avery's going to obviously be comfortable here. He's always comfortable if he gets the Riven. So I think that's a good pickup.
Yeah,
And then Yumi, I don't know. I don't think Yumi's like awful here, especially with like Twitch and some of the other champions they have. But I don't know if it's the greatest like in the comp. Like I don't know. You're already in kind of a hard lane. Now you're making it an even harder lane. But if they're able to get through lane, then Twitch Yumi does become kind of impossible to deal with.
yeah. I mean, you basically just have to stay attached. If you hop off for even a second, then Nautilus should be able to punish you pretty well. But I think they're just assuming a bit of a support gap, and Kathy will be able to maneuver around Jacob here. But
We'll have
not
to see.
entirely sure what they were thinking, but I believe the Rumble and Renekton bans were targeted at Arnye. I think there's some miscommunication around the sub in the top lane, but
Oh, yeah, that could
Midwives,
be.
I think, was informed of it later and decided to keep the ban, so I don't think there's any like unfairness or anything going around here. And they clearly got what they wanted. They got Yumi, which the support pool is completely untouched, and then they got Riven. Alawi was what was picked into Riven. Not super sure on that matchup, but
Yeah,
I'd
me
assume it's
either.
probably Alawi favored, but I have no doubts in my mind that Avery knows how to play around it.
I feel like it's probably a Lowy favored, but as with a lot of Riven matchups, I think if the Riven's good enough, you can make it work. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure. I am going to throw up these champion highlights. Just looking at the matchups, we've only seen stuff in the bot lane. It's gone very one-sided. I'm going to try and get the game downloaded. I am worried because I think there is a B patch that came out. So I'm going to make sure I'm not updating my league at all, and we'll just have to pray that it works. But do you have any thoughts?
These matchups are pretty interesting. I guess I'm a little surprised. I mean, it's such low sample size, and you don't really know
Yeah.
maybe what the players were. But the fact that Yumi's dominated Nautilus that hard, definitely like if the Yumi's and her team is playing really well, it could be difficult for Nautilus. But I think that just goes to show that at least in those two games, the Yumi players have been pretty skilled at their positioning. just
Yeah.
playing safe.
Past performance is pretty interesting. Stav has actually played the Draven before, didn't do great. Jacob historically looking rough on the Nautilus, and first times for everyone else on their team. Seeing a bit more of a sample size on the other team. Joel 6-3, pretty good. Hong 4-2. Avery 8-7. Cam actually not too many games on Silas, but looks pretty good on the ones he's played. And Kathy losing overall on the Yumi, but I don't know. I don't think anyone really cares about their Yumi stats, to be honest.
I'm honestly most excited to see some of these first timers. Excited to see Apari's Echo, just like you said, he has shown that he's really good at the carry champs. I mean, he drew 3 bans this game, so it's excited to see if he can perform on another one. Because if he pops off on Echo, then at that point you're just like, well, is it even worth banning? Because he's gonna perform on something.
Right.
Hadiri on the Galio, that's interesting. He's been playing a lot of mid since the season ended and has had a pretty wide champion pool, so I'm excited to see that one. But I will vouch for Stav's Draven a little bit. I think I was in that one game, and if I remember correctly, he started off doing really, really well, had like a huge lead out of lane, and then their team comp just got a little bit outscaled. So I'm excited to see, because I think he does have the skill level, like the ability to just generate that kind of a lead Draven demands.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Just going to check these real quick. I don't think we care too much about this, but this is the one that we're looking at. Deary is 1-0 versus Joel so far, and it looks like a bit of a wipe. So Joel's probably going to be playing for redemption here, and then Kathy has had Jacob's number historically, almost one whole KDA higher and 3 wins in her favor. But with that looked at, we can hop into game. You predicting any invades here?
Nautilus's team definitely could try. I mean, if you forced like the Twitch flash or something, that'd be insane this early in the game. So I wouldn't hate it, but blue side should just spread out and try to avoid any level 1 action.
Yeah, it looks like Nautilus is playing like a bit preventative, but isn't going for anything of his own. Echo going for a more defensive ward setup and trying to get down to his buff sooner. Maybe.
Yeah, Echo
he spent a lot of time in base there.
Echo has a few clear options. Looks like he's going to just take the leash and start the blue, which is totally fine. Probably will just clear, try to full clear pretty quickly. Although if he wanted to, you could try to get level 3 and then just immediately like go bot lane and have Nautilus flash on the Twitch or something, but that's a little bit of a riskier play. If it doesn't work, you've wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, it looked like Nautilus and Draven were going for a bit of a cheesy play there, but definitely seen on vision by Hong. You can tell as they walk down, he immediately starts moving around, getting ready to dodge if needed, but I don't think he's aware of this setup, though.
Yeah, I am surprised that Echo started blue without a leash. I think that's like not awful or anything, but it's definitely slower, where he could have maybe done Raptors if he didn't want a leash. But I don't think Hong Baba and Kathy are gonna expect Draven and Nautilus to be in this bush.
Yeah, and I'm kind of want to keep it towards top lane, but the hook is going to come out. Does hit Hong. They're going for some early damage here. The heal is just expended immediately. Same with the ignite. It's possible that was meant to be the exhaust. Not entirely sure there. But Hong is getting so much damage on the stop. Flashes and is going to be able to pick up the kill. First blood going down to the Twitch. Draven's able to cash out, but right after he dies, so I don't think he gets any bonus gold from that besides the 25 or 50 from his passive. And Yumi actually wins this 1v1 when they're both level 1, and especially hitting that level 2 first. It's been interesting.
I'd have to watch that back. I'm surprised that like they eventually started to win that. Minion damage maybe made a little bit of a difference there, but also I think the main thing is just when you have Twitch Yumi, you have 3 combat summoners to make value right there, whereas the other team really only had Ignite on Nautilus. You're not getting much out of Cleanse at this point in the game right there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the Cleanse is doing for you overall in this game either. If Silas or Riven are on top of you, you're pretty much just dead. It could just be for the Lux, but both solo laners from the Rats actually had a huge advantage early on in the game, although Hadiri is now in a bit of trouble, but this fight, bot lane is what we're looking at right now. It seems like it's going to dissolve, but Hadiri traded Joel down to a couple hundred HP, and Lowy's sitting on a nice, comfortable farm lead up on the top side of the map. I think what made the difference bot lane was the poison stacking over time, but we're fighting top. Jeremy is ignited, and Cam's here, does miss the chains, and I don't think they have much left, but Avery flashes in for it, and that's the first kill in the top lane, going over to Avery on his Riven. I wouldn't say it's unexpected.
Definitely good to get a kill onto him because, as you pointed out, Jeremy had started out the lane farming up a little bit of a lead. But good gank by Cam.
Yeah, Jeremy actually did just buy the cull on his back. Apari was hovering up top, maybe looking for something in trade, but I don't think he really gets it. Hidiri and Joel are trading pretty evenly here, but Joel's actually out poking with the Lux passive. And Hidiri dies if he gets hit by anything.
The Lux passive gives a lot of extra damage. It makes it pretty hard for Galio to kind of survive this matchup.
Yep. Joel really wanted to kill it. Actually gets it off minions. That's crazy. Or maybe Scorch. But had seen Apari step over the ward there and was positioning out of the way to avoid it. Joel now has no mana left, but Cam's going for this fight, but there's actually something bigger happening in the bot lane. Hong is looking for a trade over there, and I think Yuumi is actually going to be able to pick it up. And it looks like Cam is not going to be able to get the kill here. But that's 2 kills over to the Draven.
Really frustrating for Apari there not to be able to pick up the kill on Deluxe. Joel did a really good job getting out of there.
Yeah, I mean, Echo just has mobility on a bit of a lower cooldown. Some of Silas's is targeted. Jacob actually being able to get away from Cam there too. Cam is just trying to find these kills and isn't finding anything.
Draven with the serrated Dirk and the boots is pretty strong at this point. Twitch needs to be a little bit careful, but they are about to have all those combat summoners back up, so it could swing the fight again.
Yeah, Jeremy gets a nice soul pull here, trying to get something done. Not sure how much advantage he's going to have here. The items purchased for Avery just look a bit better. Cam showing up in the mid lane, looking for a play. He's only level 3, a bit far behind, does miss the E2, so I think the play's just dead. That kill that went over to Joel earlier, though, is pretty impactful.
Yeah, Joel being on Lost Chapter is pretty huge advantage right now. I mean, he's just at the point where he just can perma-shove in, and that's why I don't necessarily love the Galio pick, because I think Galio wants to be able to move and help out his team, and when you're kind of stuck under your turret, it can be pretty difficult.
Yeah, Hong's been farming super well this game, though. Has the most on his team. The Echo and Alawi are quite fed, but...
Yeah, Apari's generated a nice lead just off of
okay, shit just happened all over the map. Okay, Avery just got a solo kill, which we got to watch. Now we're going to go back and see what Joel did to Hidiri here. I think he's just going to fire an ult out and hit him.
Yeah. Let's see it.
Okay, did we go back too far? I'm so confused.
No, I don't know. Probably on this wave. He'll try to probably CS the wave and get got.
Oh, he hit him there, and Hidiri tries to dodge it. Okay, and now going back down to bot side, we can speed up a little bit. Because the hook comes down, and that's where things get interesting. Right there. Oh, it's a minion. Okay, so that explains why the camera moved. Right, anyway, double solo kills going over to the mid-lives solo lanes, I think. Pretty big deal here, actually. If you're able to get pressure across multiple points in the map, that does help you out a lot. Sorry for the whiplash. Going all over the place there.
Yeah, it's only barely over a 1k gold lead for the midwives, so their solo lanes are keeping them in like a really strong position right now.
Yeah, almost the entirety of the gold lead is just sitting right on mid lane, though. Joel has such a huge advantage. I'm really thinking that they thought it was Silas mid when they chose the Galio, but Joel's doing a really good job of punishing this matchup.
Yeah, that's definitely... I mean, I guess it could have been that, but that's definitely just like a little bit of a misread, because I think Joel's been performing really well in the Lux just every time he's picked it this season. So I would, if I see Lux and they're not putting it in Joel's hands, I'd be surprised, because I'm not sure what else you're getting him on, that he's just going to have such a consistent, impactful performance like he's just showing once again.
Yep, I think I actually just messed up. I had the camera locked on Yuumi. But Cam is actually able to pick up a kill here. Does get some stacks on the Darksteel. It's the only thing he's bought so far this game, which is a bit interesting. Echo sitting on a whole alternator ahead of him. But Direct the camera back on. He's answering a few texts. Now it's something that's breaking down on here. Apari dropping down pretty low. Does have the Echo ult available to him. He's going to hold it for a bit, and he should just be able to get out here. I don't think they have the ability to chase him down. But now they're turning on to Jacob. Jacob is grabbed by the E2 from Silas. Hooks towards the wall to try and get himself out, but Hong's going to be able to pick that one up. Full stacks poison. Does a lot of damage with the E, but now Hong's in range of Stav, trying to poke him down. Gets him to about half HP, and Hong is just sitting pretty. Gonna look to farm some of these minions up. Try and hit 6 to make himself an even bigger threat.
Yeah, I think Rats definitely doesn't seem like they're maybe on the same page right now. They're kind of struggling to make a coordinated play. It's kind of reactive right now. If you can get like one completed item on Echo, he gets a lot more agency. So maybe if they can get to that point.
Here's the play though. Hong is going to be able to pick this one up, I'm pretty sure. Just a question of whether he has to flash or not. Does bring the flash, gets the kill. Hook comes out from Jacob, but doesn't find anything. Joel just immediately going for the poke, walking up, but isn't going to find anything else. Avery survived a pretty close trade up there in the top side. We barely missed it on camera, but no one died.
Now the game's starting to get a little bit worrisome if you're Rats. 1k gold lead's not too bad, but now that you're getting closer to like a 3k gold lead, not even 10 minutes yet, you kind of need to find a way to stabilize or to make a positive play.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the good news is, even if you are having a bit of a rough game here, we will get to see both of these teams play at least one more time throughout the day. The winner of this is guaranteed to be in the next game, and then the loser is guaranteed to be in the game after that. So,
oh, exciting. Okay.
Neither of these teams are playing with their life fully on the line. But the recurring thing that I've been seeing throughout this tournament is your own team's namesake being used against you. So we have a Fed Rat against the Rats, and anytime the Meta Bullies played, the Meta Busters on the other team seemed to level up and play super well. So I don't know if we'll see any more of that throughout the tournament, but just a funny thing to point out.
Might be the thing to do against the Rats. Meta Bullies, no more do anything to them. They are gone.
That's true. Deary falls down super low here. This Galio pick is not working out at all, as you pointed out in draft. Jacob's looking for a play here, but Hong's just lurking in the shadows. When he hits that ulti, he's going to be able to get them both, I think.
Yeah, he's just waiting for his moment.
Yeah, Avery going for some trades there, and now he's lurking. They get behind him. Yuumi ult is coming down. Same with the Twitch ultimate. Stav is falling down low. Not enough to die. They might have to turn fire onto Jacob and try and pick him up. Yuumi gets some poke, but the poison stacks just reset on Stav, so they might actually just be able to survive this play. It looked like perfect positioning from the Twitch, but they weren't able to find anything. Apari was forced to use Flash to avoid dying at Rift Herald there. And the fight's actually breaking back out. Stav's now falling down low. Galio ult coming through. Stav's able to pick up one. Looks like Stav might be able to pick up two, but no, the other one goes to Hidiri. They make sure he gets the cash out, and then they're fine to give the kill over to someone else.
Definitely. Good roam down by Galio to...
Oh, huge flash from Avery. Yeah, good kill there. Okay, finally the action's done.
Yeah, nice flash by Avery there. I think he kind of took Jeremy by surprise. Although, once your Echo's already flashed out of the pit, I don't really know if you want to be in that position anyway to really take that fight as Alawi.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're just thinking Alawi does well into multiple people, so why not? But Hidiri's just getting destroyed here. Oh my god, and Shelly with the almost assist knocks him away from the tower and into the other team. But Joel just didn't have any rotations left.
Time to reset again.
Yeah, and well, Stav's been doing pretty well in the bot lane. They're actually even in KDA, the 3-3-1 on both sides. He's down like half CS from Hong, so you're not actually in a very good position, even though it looks like it. Calculating in for Draven passive, he is only 300 gold behind though, so you're not super worried.
That CS lead is really impressive for Twitch to have that in that lane. Some credit to Hong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you're keeping even with your zero death top laner when you have 3. Obviously, a bit of a different lane state there, but I don't know. Good farming from him. And okay, now Joel should die, right? Jacob runs in, pops the ultimate. Hidiri's looking for it, but double root from Joel, and he's out.
Galio doesn't do damage.
Oh,
that's
the drain! And hits it from downtown! Okay, now Cam's going in, looking for Jacob does give it over to Hong. Hong is looking for Hidiri here. Gets him low. Hidiri is able to dodge a Twitch auto with his E, and Hidiri's ticking down. They're going to be able to grab tower, but oh no, the 1-for-1. Poison claims one, and the tower claims the other.
They were able to at least kill Joel, but it just took so long that the rest of the team collapsed and were able to kind of get back at him. I'd like to see Echo try to get involved in like a team fight type play. I think you picked Galio because you were like, I'm going to support the jungler, but then we haven't really seen Echo and Galio fighting together very much at all.
That's a really good point. Echo is doing pretty good on the farm lead, but doesn't have much else going for him. He has a Dark Seal and then proceed to not fight for the rest.
Yeah, it's one of those games where he hasn't really been able to find a play. He hasn't really done anything wrong, I would say, but you're just getting outpaced by all the gold that's getting put into the other team because of their kill participation.
Yeah, and honestly, if you don't think about the deaths and the kills in the top lane, the Lowy fix actually went out pretty well. Joel was just typing in chat.
Typing in chat.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. Jacob hits him and probably just dies for it. Insane bait. You see the other team typing in chat, you try and kill him, and Jacob misses the wall, and kills go over to Joel. Joel goes, you try and kill me on AFK, I kill you. But
instant karma right there.
Yeah. No, I feel like Jeremy did a pretty good job in that lane. He was able to pick up 2 or 3 tower plates, almost has his call completed. He's not doing too shabby in terms of gold, and the other team is all pretty low range, so he should have some value in later game team fights. What I don't want to see is a hull breaker coming out from the Alawi.
No, I definitely think that ship has sailed this game.
Oh, Apari could have a huge play here. Does not get the stun. Goes in. The Galio ulti is coming out. Just going to disengage the play. I don't think there's a way to CC this guy.
They are still looking, but... Oh.
Yeah, Apari's going in. He's team fighting. He does burn the ulti to keep himself safe. Hidiri's going in. The stolen Galio ulti is actually going to seal Hidiri's fate. Jacob's falling down super low. Cam's running out on the backside. That's a kill for Joel. That's another kill for Hong. He's at 2 right now, and Cam's able to pick one up too. So that's very diversified gold. And Jeremy is maybe looking for that, but no, that's 5 kills. The ace across the map for the midwives. Kills going to everyone except the Yuumi. Her kill went to Twitch.
Yeah, I don't hate Rat. I get why they felt like they had to force that. But I think when you're like this far behind this early, it's not that you shouldn't go for that play, but everybody has to be on like the exact same page going in at the exact same time for it to work, and they just kind of were not quite there with the execution.
Yeah, it just feels like some of those champions are just a bit too far behind. There's already a pretty massive gold lead, and first dragon coming down now. The 7k already existing, you're at about 8k of effective stats. Joel's looking for a play. Stav does flash in, forces the flash out, and that ulti went wide. Was able to dodge the Q, but face tanks the ult, he just dies. Cam's looking for a play here, does steal Echo ulti. I don't think it's going to help him in this fight, but will later. Good hook from Jacob should save Apari's life, but oh my god, Cam's able to hit it. And he has the ulti to get out. There's no way he's dying there. He just pops the ulti and is able to leave. Huge play from Cam.
That was really clean.
He's got the full stack Dark Seal.
Just throws the ult in his face. Oh, man.
Yeah, Joel is sitting on so much CS. 5-1 and 4. Jeremy's out farming him, has the most in the game still, but now Joel's able to pick this one up too. Has the ultimate back up already. Oh boy. Does he have Ultimate Hunter? He does. That would explain a lot. It's not even fully stacked. Avery breaking out a fight on the top lane, but I don't see them fighting until someone dies. Could be wrong though. Alawi ult comes out. Avery's healing up a little bit. He's trying to run away. The Soul is punishing him so much, and they're able to pick up a kill. Counter matchup doing some work. He got 800 gold from that, but Hong's able to kill the Draven once again.
Ooh, nice flash hook. Oh my goodness.
That was a meaty ultimate. Deary's in here. Hong's in a bit of a bad spot. Galio's able to pick up an 800 gold shutdown too. They're trying to bring this game back. Kathy's falling down a little low. It's hard to survive as a Yuumi without the Twitch. Now Hidiri's running towards Joel. Apari falls down super low. Joel able to get a snare here. Hidiri's running up. I don't
Joel
think
could
there's a
win
way to get him.
this.
Hadiri flashes, though, is able to get the taunt, but there's no team there to help him. Draven ulti is able to pick it up. Cash is out. That's 5, 6, and 1 Draven. Did get the Collector first, and not sure what he's going for now with those items.
Good job. That was a much more coordinated play, kind of like we were talking about. Echo came over the wall right when Nihilus put the ultimate onto Twitch, followed it up with the flash hook, then Galio came through, and that's kind of like what they have to do. If they can find another good play like that in the next few minutes, then then the game starts getting really close again.
Yeah, this game, I mean, this team is like a very early game focused team, though. So the fact that the first one of those good plays came in so late is a bit troublesome for them. With the Twitch and the Lux and the Silas already having resources, it's pretty hard to come back from this. But if they're able to keep playing coordinated like this, and Jeremy's still able to get stuff done in the side lane, it puts him in a really good position. Pari is playing aggressively. No Galio ult there to back him up. Jacob's hex flashing over the pit, looking to make something happen. Pari, I believe, doesn't even have ultimate, so Avery's just able to hop over the pit and get him down. But now Jeremy and Jacob are here. Huge Alawi ultimate hits a couple people, but Jacob's dead first, and that is basically a solo kill for Hong in the back of the pit. Jeremy's falling down low, and Cam's able to re-engage. The tentacles are doing so much. Cam has to flash out, and Jeremy's looking to pick up the kill, but Avery's able to finish him off. We just got to be careful of the tentacles. Okay, the eye was picked up by Midwives. I was really worried that a tentacle lasted it and no one was going to pick it up.
Yeah, really good counter punch back after you just had a little bit of a bad play. They instantly kind of snap on him there. You don't even have the Lux in that play and you win that hard. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, the Lux is up a bit of gold, about 3k. Hong also up about 3k. Hard to come back from this one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of Galio as well. When you fall behind on that pick, it's kind of useless.
Yeah, Hong's getting snared up, though. Galio and Nautilus might be looking to get something done, but I believe Twitch Yumi is going to be able to kill them both. I don't think anything's happening. Draven, able to go.
Draven ult has been the hero for their team this game, honestly. There's been so many fights where I feel like they wouldn't have been able to win it if the Draven ult didn't come through.
Yeah, I mean, Stav's playing pretty well. It looks like this might be another one of those games where he does well early. Apari sees the enemy team and immediately leaves.
Yeah, I think he was dead if he didn't choose to do that there, but definitely sucks because now you're waiting for that to come back up before you feel like you can kind of be aggressive. Yeah, and Avery's still just hunting for him.
Yeah, this is an exciting game. This is 40 kills, 20 minutes. We're seeing 2 full kills per minute this game. Very high pace. Cam runs up. He wants that Echo ultimate. Threw some chains over the wall. He doesn't really care who he hits. He was looking for someone. Yumi Riven might be looking to make a play here aggressively.
Yeah, you do have Alawi pushing unchecked right now.
Yeah, you'd think Hong would be able to deal with that, but Jeremy could be getting stuff done. I believe this tower is just going to fall. I don't know what they have to stop it. Joel could TP, but it's probably not even worth it.
Oh, Twitch caught him out.
Yeah. Hong's able to pick up the Draven. Some fights are breaking down here. Cam's looking for something. Joel's just raining damage down from afar, and that's 3 kills over to the blue team so far. Cam's now running in. Avery just solos the dragon, and that's the 4th kill for them. They traded all of that for just the side lane turret. Maybe 2 side lane turrets.
I mean, I think at that point, if you're saying that Alawi's just going to keep pushing, which I don't think is necessarily a bad idea, but the rest of the team needed to just back up and be like in the base clearing the waves. They were still kind of, I don't know if they were planning on contesting the drag or if they were just kind of just stuck in that area for a little too long, but yeah, Alawi's going to push like that, the rest of them need to back up. Yeah,
and Avery's just able to pick her up anyway, so not much to be said there. 8-1 Riven. Avery's been having a hell of a game. Oh, and Cam just goes for that one, tries to go right on Apari. Apari's able to get out, but Cam gets CC'd down here. The hook is going to miss, but Draven's able to pick up a lot of gold. That looked like 1,000 in total. Stav 771, really good performance here. Hong is struggling to take this red buff. The whole team's looking to collapse on him, maybe. Apari is right here. Jacob's there. Flash is up from Hong. He chooses not to do it. He knows he can just kill these both. One going over to Avery. Hong's able to get this one, and Yeah, it's just
There's just no
rough. Draven goes
damage
for
unless
something,
the Draven's there.
dies too. Yeah, it's so hard
Echo,
with the Galio when you taunt the other team and they kill you because of it.
Galio has 0 damage. The Echo isn't even able to get 2 items yet, so he's really struggling for damage right now, and it's just the heals from the Yuumi just make Twitch kind of unkillable there, unless Draven's just getting to hit him.
Yeah, I think this game is really just when are they going to choose to end? We've now passed the 2 kills per minute mark. We're getting even more. It's such a bloody game, and we're stacking them all up on this Twitch.
Yeah, I think they are just kind of waiting for their moment to end. They might try to just get the Baron first and then walk it down. Kind of looks like what they're doing.
Yep, Avery able to grab a side lane turret, match the top lane state on both sides. It's gonna go over and help out with this Baron. There's no way for the Rats to contest here. They're in a pretty rough spot.
Yeah, not really sure what you do here. Maybe the Draven will steal.
Nope. He ults and then immediately the Twitch shows up behind him and kills him. I
Yeah,
missed
Twitch
that
is
watching the
off
ult. Yeah, and Hidiri's gonna fall down here too. Well, he's gotten 3. The Echo's trying to get away. He's in a really rough spot, and they should just be able to end the game here. Hong chasing after a par instead of ending the game. A little bloodthirsty, decides against it after a little while.
Well, Rats, they're not out of it, like you said. They have another game at least, so just kind of got to keep the mental in check and then live to fight another day.
Yeah, this should just be the end of the game. I'm afraid to call it. If anything happens, Hong does get lit up by the Alawi ultimate, but finally used that flash. But nope, 1,000 gold going over to Alawi. This could be a bit interesting. Avery is fighting by himself, like toes deep in everyone else, and he's cleaning house. The Gallia ult does come down. This is a triple kill going over to Cam. Is he able to pick up a penta? We can see it. Cam goes in, looking for the Echo. Or that's Jeremy. That's the Alawi. Never mind. Lux is able to take out Hidiri, and that is game. 44 kills to 14 in only 24 minutes. That is probably the bloodiest game of the tournament so far, and maybe the whole thing, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Good game by the midwives, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you break this one down for a bit, Mason. If you want to hop on and give some thoughts, you can feel free to unmute. I got to make sure we get that game in there, and I'll pull up our assets for the next game.
General thoughts were just I think midwives had a good draft plan. They triple banned out the jungler, which I guess they thought was going to be an issue. Forced him on to not one of his most comfortable picks, I would imagine. Then first picked the Twitch away. And we're confident in doing it, and showed why. And I think at that point they kind of just had a good draft strategy. They picked Silas and the Echo. That had a lot of value. I haven't seen Joel do bad when he blind picked Lux once yet, so also a good pick. And then I think Yuumi just kind of was, like a really good pick. I was kind of questioning it because I think you had to play it well, but I mean, that's 3-0 for Yuumi now in Nautilus, and the KDA is going to be even higher. So I think we're just going to seeing a good strategy getting executed well.
I think Kathy on the Yumi is like kind of proven, and I'm glad that her and Hong have been playing again. This is like the duo from like season 5, was it? When they were on Kathy's
4.
Kittens. 4? Was
Yeah.
it 4?
Yep.
Okay. Well, there's a duo from season 4 where this was like probably the best bot lane in the league at the time, and I'm glad to see they're back tearing it up on the Rift. Cam utilizing the Silas counter pick in a really good matchup. Echo can like never play the game into Silas, and I think he played the matchup really well. Wasn't here for draft, but I think did they pick the Silas early?
They picked Silas after they picked Silas on blue 2 with Lux.
Okay.
After they saw Echo get locked in,
So they picked Silas and Lux at the same time, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say something about holding up a Silas flex, but that's just a lie.
No, I made your comment already. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. But I do think Joel on these like long range control mages, he can pinch out his Zerath and his Ziggs and all this other nonsense, but he still has really good champ pool afterwards. So
I think we need to have a serious conversation about how Joel's got this little bit of a mid lane pool that's just really causing all the other mid laners to kind of struggle into it.
yeah,
Like even at the end of that game, he didn't have the flashiest scoreline, but he consistently farms really well on those picks. rarely dies and just completely snuffs out really
Yeah.
anything that most of the other mid laners have tried so far.
Yeah, just able to like constantly clear out the waves versus Galio and just make it so that the champion can't unlock the rest of the map, pair up with the Echo and try to snowball the game, because that's kind of what you want to do on like Echo Galio, right? You want to set up for like these 4-man dives on side lanes with the Galio ulti on top of like the Echo stun, and just try to like get these really good dives, and just being able to neutral out that lane was super effective from
Yeah,
Joel. So I really like that.
we didn't see Galio and Echo make one play together until really
Yeah,
far into the game, and
it was too
I
late
really
by
think
then.
Galio just wasn't like Dean said. They might have thought it was going to be like Silas mid, but even then, I don't think that's that good of a pick. I just don't
They
think
didn't
Silas is a
even
good
use
pick
the
there.
silence flex. No. Anyways, also Avery on the Riven. This boy sure can click them buttons on Riven real good. You know, known Riven player. Glad to see him get his main champion TM and really
Yeah, that was
perform
fun.
on it. So
Yeah, his Riven games are always exciting.
yeah, dude, it is kind of fucking cold. But anyways, yeah, that's really it. I didn't get to see draft, but what did they ban? Let me look. Someone have it up?
Avery's team banned 3 junglers. I think they banned Viego, Evelyn, and Kane. Yeah,
Okay. I'm surprised they put any Brio on the Viego van, but I guess those are probably good at it.
he's played it a few times, I believe, and it's done well.
Yeah, I see people are still getting baited by this hacker and van. This champion's not a good team. Come on now. I'm just kidding.
I think they just did that purely because I think the game
Yeah,
before
yeah. I
Kane
think their
played
prep
well on
into
the
the
Nick room.
yeah, I think their prep into cam is leave up the echo because you can take it, and then also just ban out the hacker, which I think is like a fine read. I think Midwives utilizing the Twitch first pick was super good, just to like deny uh Stav his best champion, and like Hong is like kind of cracked at this ADC role, so I've heard. So uh really good. Is Alawi good into Riven? Is this matchup Alawi favored?
Honestly, I'm not sure. We saw Lowy get at least one solo kill onto the Riven, even after Riven had gotten like a 2 to 3 kill lead. So
Yeah.
definitely some
But
ability to fight, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Alawi was the greatest pick here either.
yeah,
Although
because I
I do
feel
think
like
Alawi is good into Silas. Like I don't know. I think it's difficult for melee champs, so you're into Silas and Riven. So
yeah,
I don't think that's awful. But
you have like two melee champs, but then Lux and Twitch are gonna sit at range and you're never gonna get onto them, right? And
yeah,
like Riven can kind of like dash out of all your abilities if she really wants to. Like not entirely sure, but I think it's an interesting pick
Okay,
nonetheless.
I got us back to where we need to be. Sorry, I
Okay.
was just lagging a bit behind. But anyway, with this, the midwives move on. Rats we're going to see in an hour. So if you're a Rats fan, probably come back on in like 45, 50 minutes and you'll be able to catch their last game because they will be playing in the qualifying match. So they still have that shot of entering the Fearless BO3. And now we are watching Milky Way versus Midwives, which ended off the first day of games, and will close out the bracket format to determine seeding. The winner of this game is automatically going to advance to the Fearless best of 3, and the team that loses will have to face the Rats in the qualifying series to enter into it. But
Okay.
here are the highlights if you guys want to go over them.
Oh yeah. Well, it's Cam once again being the key player.
yeah.
This boy sure can play jungle. I think his Echo and his Hecarim are both really proven. Had like a lot of. I think after Echo and Hecarim, his champ pool is a bit of a question mark, but he did just show off the super consistent Silas play. There's like a lot of other champions that he could potentially play, like the Diana jungle. I keep telling him to try a Wukong jungle. It's actually not that bad. He is an adamant Wukong hater, but I don't know, man. But yeah, I think he has been a strong point in a lot of his teams. One of the best junglers in the server, in my opinion. So
Definitely, I'll give him like if he picks a champion I haven't seen him play it before, I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna expect him to
yeah,
do pretty well. I mean, that's just kind of how he's shown to be. 71 champions played. That's
yeah, a
pretty
bit of a
huge.
champ ocean. Yeah,
I'm excited to hear your analysis on what he does this game because we're kind of seeing two of the better jugglers in the server kind of get to.
yeah. And then for the side of Milky Way, it is Blake. So this boy sure can play top lane. His GP is a little fearsome. Should really just never get this champion. Honestly, it's kind of broken in his hands. He plays a lot of like these other like meta top laners, Garen. Well, I guess not meta, but like a lot of these like bruiser 1v9 characters, and also
Yeah,
just is willing to learn a lot of new champions, like the Kane top you showed off the other day. So
I feel like he'll pick almost anything as well.
yeah,
I think he's played Akshan and stuff as well. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I would describe him as he's just gonna go to UGG and pick whatever the biggest counter pick is.
Yeah, and he'll play it well. That's the craziest part. Like I respect that a lot from him. So super fearsome player. Definitely a highlight on his team. So the key
Key
matchup
matchup.
is versus Hong. Okay. This is like a old school ADC matchup. I think we've seen a lot.
The matchup stats are basically even. One more win for Hong, but
Yeah.
0.01 higher KD, so pretty even.
Yeah, I think Hong typically does better on like the 1v9 hyper carry kind of ADCs. Champions like Jinx and Vayne that can sort of just take over games, where Dean has like more of a utility ADC kind of setup with like the Jhin and the Varus and like some other. I don't know if they've played Ashe a lot recently, but I do think he tends to skew away from more hyper carries and more for like mid game kind of carry champions, which I think he typically excels at. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see this matchup.
yeah, this should be a really hype matchup.
Especially with the supports included as well. I think Mythic and
Yeah,
Kathy are two of the better supports in the server.
yeah.
Both
Mythic and
playing really
Kathy should
well.
be a really fun matchup. Kathy tends more for like the peel enchanter supports, whereas Mythic is Mr. Engage, particularly on a Nautilus and ego the fuck out of the enemy support, which I really love.
Okay.
I
Alana
think
undefeated on Sejuani. Sorry, I gotta just shout
yeah,
that out.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Really
I
good
love that for
KDA.
her. Yeah, Sejuani, this perma useful tank jungler. I really like to see her utilizing this pick super well. It's just like this champion's never bad. You click R and are useful in every fight. Another matchup I really want to shout out is the mid lane one. I think Stanley and Joel is like a really fun matchup. I think Joel has typically had the edge in this matchup because I think he has like a bit of a longer range champ pool. Like Stanley tends towards like the
Exactly.
Victor and
Yeah.
stuff, and Joel has like the Xerath and the Ziggs in his back pocket that sort of outrange these like control mage style matchups. So I think it's like a really fun matchup to watch either way, because I think Stanley has been doing a lot of work to like expand his champion pool, whereas Joel has kind of stuck to like a little more similar champions like the Lux and stuff like that. So I'm curious to
Definitely.
see how that breaks down. But yeah,
Definitely. I think traditionally Joel's champion pool would really beat up Stanley's.
yeah,
But as you said, Stanley's been expanding his. I think we've seen him have good performances on both Kassadin and Silas like this season. So
yeah.
excited to see. He might have something special because I think maybe normally you'd expect one of those control mages, but this time if Joel chooses to just like blind pick the Lux or the Xerath or something again, Stanley might have something to punish it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for that. And as always, Cam's Echo is super highlighted. Ro is undefeated on his champion, still unwilling to pick this champion sometimes, which always makes me mad. But never you can like never not plan around his Echo kind of thing. It's like a huge strength of his champ pool is like you have to you have to have a plan for this Echo, otherwise he will take over games on it. And I really love that.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if I've gotten to see him play it yet. But oh,
Oh,
here
he
we
does
go.
play it this game.
Let's
Okay.
go.
All right, so for jungle vans from Milky Way, is this the
Wait,
right
this is
draft?
the previous
This is
draft.
the
This is the
previous
previous
draft.
draft.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was about to say, there's no way. While we wait for Dean to fix this, oh, there
There
we
we
go.
go.
No, that's not it either.
The
So
Echo wasn't banned, but wasn't picked.
yeah, which is pretty surprising. I do like. Did we get the right bands? Is this the right bands? Are we locked in? Dean, is this correct? I will not say anything until we
This is
get.
correct.
Oh,
Okay,
this
okay.
so it is the Echo. Okay.
Okay. So if we want to talk about bans, I think Milky Way doing their homework, Xerath, Jinx, and Riven banned out removing Joel's best long range artillery mage in the Xerath, removing Hong's most consistent ADC in the Jinx, and removing Avery from his arguably best champion in the Riven. And then for the side of midwives, I think they removed the Senna because it's a really strong champion in the meta right now. Has a lot of good support pairings. Taking the Kane off the table to make sure Blake can't do the blue Kane top shenanigans that he did last game, and then the Victor once again for Stanley, I think is a really solid ban.
Yeah, I love the confidence for Stanley just to like take Syndra first pick here.
Yeah,
I think she's definitely a really strong champion, so I think that's fine. into some players, it'd be a little riskier, but I think he's recognizing he knows exactly what Joel's going to play. And even though I still think the artillery mages can do well into Syndra, if they ever do miss position, she has the damage to kind of catch them out. So I like the strategy for them.
Yeah, Syndra has been like most has been like a I think most mid laners in the server have come to the consensus that Syndra is like the best blind pick. She kind of does everything, has good CC, good setup, super good 1v1 potential, and like the ulti and like just being able to blow anyone up that you want is super useful. And then I do like Midwives response in like the Ziggs. I think Ziggs kind of outranges Syndra, I believe, and can like out wave clear. So like maybe you can dodge the 1v1 or like skip the lane. And then Hong opting for the Aphelios. I think this is like his second most played champion, or like it's like one of his best ADCs. He's performed on it multiple times, so I'm really excited to see it. It's a bit of a short range champion, but I think it's this is definitely more of like a comfort pick for him. So
Definitely. I think that'll be a really good pick to watch. But then I love the answer by Mythic just to go for the not or the Blitzcrank here. Traditionally, he's been kind of leaning towards like the Nautilus, maybe the Leona, but I think into those champions specifically, you've seen two champions that are just going to play like backline carries, try to be really far away. And if the Blitzcrank hook ever lands onto either of those, that's just kind of a kill.
yeah, you just sit there, blow them up, and Alana defaulting back to the Sejuani. We do love that. Uh, Alana is like sort of untouched on the Sejuani so far in the series, or in the entire bracket stage. This champ is like really good for her. Hasn't really been pushed off of this champion, so they're just defaulting back to it. Don't need to show anything else. It's good with like a lot of the pairings that you want. Good setup, good utility, all that nonsense. So
And he does pick the Echo into it, so excited to get to see that.
yeah, if we're talking about pure 1v1, I'm pretty sure Echo should kind of win this matchup. You can kind of like outfarm the Sejuani, try to like out skirmish her, and just like really utilize your mobility and like your ability to like invade and stuff like that into the Sejuani kind of thing. Just utilize your and you kind of like outscale her if you can dodge around her, but it's sort of like an uncontested matchup. You get to scale for free as the Echo, so I kind of like that as well.
Then they go for the Lulu after we see they chose to ban Varus and Callista. That's Varus kind of makes sense to me. Callista, I mean, I guess you're worried about them going for a really aggressive lane with the Blitzcrank, which I think we've seen Dean play with Eric.
Mhm.
So I think that makes sense as well. And then on the other side, getting rid of Rakan and Thresh. I didn't know those were in Kathy's champion pool, but definitely think those aren't terrible bans if you're kind of wanting to just get rid of stuff that does well into Blitzcrank.
Yeah, I will also say I think the Rakana Thresh is sort of to like uh maybe lock Hong into like the ADC role if they wanted to do like a cute flex.
Oh,
Put
okay.
Hong on support. He's known for his Rakan and his Thresh. I think they're really good.
Well,
But
that
yeah,
makes sense then.
I think also like locking Kathy out of like really good Blitzcrank counter picks is really good. So they opt for the Lulu. I think this is like a really common Aphelios pairing. You just sort of super steroid the Aphelios and they can sort of just walk all over the team. So I do kind of like this pick, just really trying to enable their 80 carry. So
Definitely. I think it's a good pick. I don't think it's like the greatest pick into the Blitzcrank, but I think when you see that they end up last picking like a tank, I think they clearly had kind of a team comp in mind already.
yeah,
And I think then it fits really well.
mhm,
I'm a little surprised Dean went for the Jin. I don't think it's
yeah,
terrible by any means, but just looking at kind of the four champions he would have seen at this point, I'm a little surprised that's what he chose to go for.
yeah. It is kind of surprising because Echo can sort of farm the Jin like you drop your E proto belt and the Jin is never walking away from you kind of thing, and like they respond with a blind pick Garen as well. I think this is Blake's like pretty comfortable on this character. There's like not a whole lot of bad matchups for Garen in general. Uh, you just drop QE and then fucking nuke someone to high heaven. And then midwives do opt for like the Ornn counter pick just to like try to fix up their team comp. They really needed some front line, some engage, and I think the Ornn does a spectacular job of sort of saying, "I got you, bro. Front line, engage, CC, all in one, baby. I got you, bro." And I really love that for them. So
Yeah, Avery's been a really good performer on the Ornn. I think everybody respects his carries, and then he just chooses to pull out a tank like with the Ornn or the Scion every now and then and just shows that he's just as good at those picks as well. So I'm pretty excited to see this one. I think overall I like Midwife's draft a little bit more,
yeah,
but Milky Way or what their team's draft has a really good ability to kind of just make plays happen with Blitzcrank, with Sejuani, with maybe with the Garen in the side lane if Stanley can find a pick. So definitely have windows into the game.
Yeah, I do think this is like kind of an example of drafting for a win con versus like drafting for comfort or like actually I don't have anything else to say. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. I was about to say some stupid shit, but uh in terms of player matchup, I think Blake is dumpstered Avery every time. Like that's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes this time around. 1-5's pretty dominating.
Yeah, I think Blake has always
Alana
been.
with sorry, I just saw that 18 KD against Cam. I just had to
Yeah, I'm
react to
like
that.
a lot is kind of submerging on Cam. We love to see that. Lil Girl Bosses stay winning. Super good on the Sedwani pick. Like I think she's been shown to able to neutralize these like super high carry junglers, and I think being able to neutralize Cam in a game is like super cool. And then apparently Joel and Stanley have traded off. Joel has had less of an edge in recent times, I believe, in this matchup. I think this is also like what we were talking about in more recent times. Stanley has picked up more champions, and Joel has sort of like been a bit more solved as a player. So I'm curious to see how this matchup goes around this time. So
Definitely, I think mid lane will be a good one to watch.
yeah,
If we can, I don't know, Ziggs may very well just stand at range and farm the whole
throw
game. So
things.
it's kind of Joel's MO. So I think that's what we'll probably see.
Yeah,
But if Alana's able to get creative with her gank pathing, there might be an angle.
yeah. And then we have the Dean versus Hong matchup. I'm super excited to see how this one plays out. Historically, Hong has done a little bit better, has a bit of the edge. This I think the late game carries also tend to do better in scrims because games tend to go a little longer. I think just by the nature of not wanting to make super high risk plays. So I think Hong's champion pool just has a bit more of a edge in these kind of environments. And then
Yeah,
Mythic and Kathy is apparently, or no, it makes a lot of sense that Mythic is a bit favored because I think engaged supports tend to do a bit better into like enchanters. If you find the angle on them, they're just fucking dead, right? So
definitely. I really think this game's going to come down to the bot lane matchup. I
yeah,
think the solo laners for midwives, Avery and Joel, in their matchups, if they aren't winning, I think they will do a very good job of just stabilizing. And then I think we can just expect that Cam will probably do well in the Echo, but I think Alana will also do well in Sejuani. So then
yeah,
ultimately, I think it just comes down to bot lane. If the Phelios and the Lulu get a little bit ahead, they're going to be so hard to kill. But if Blitzcrank's
yeah,
able to get some early action going and snowball a lead for Jin, well, then the game could just kind of be a quick one. We'll have to see.
yeah. Well, we will have to see as we uh yeah, it should be a very fun game to watch. So very excited to watch the bot lane matchup. I do agree with you. I think it's going to be like the highlight of the series. So
Not much in the
it's
champion matchups. I mean, Syndra does have the edge over Ziggs.
yeah. And I think Garen is like even into the Ornn. I think Garen has a bit of a better KD because the champion typically just gets more kills than an Ornn would, but we'll have to see how it plays out in game. The rest of the matchup knowledge is kind of unknown, at least so far. So we'll have to see how it plays out. And in the past, oh, Echo is fucking dumpster this is. Or no, the champion in general has just done really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Jin with an impressive win-loss. So
Oh, for the players. Okay. Gotcha. I'm stupid. I can't read. Dina 11-4 on the Jin. And Kev historically has done super well on the Echo. No surprise. Alana is 4-2 on the Sejuani, which is very impressive.
yeah, I'm a little surprised Joel doesn't have a winning record on the Ziggs. I feel like he usually does really well with it, but definitely like a respectable, just kind of even.
Yeah, and Avery on the Ornn is smurfing it up 6-4. Insane KD though on this tank engaged champion, so
Yeah, Avery's
super
Orange
impressive
is
from him.
really good.
Yeah, and it is Mythic's first time on the Blitz, so that should be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's because it's kind of a champion I think you would think would be in his pool based on the other champs he plays. So it's exciting to get to actually see him pull
Yeah,
a new
and
one
we will
out.
see the level 1 invade. Oh, but
Oh,
they've already prepped for this. They are knowers. I guess we just get both teams in the level 1 bush. Uh, looks like
Did Mythic
Blake
change his name, or is the Blitzcrank Eric?
the Blitzcrank might be Eric. Yeah, it is Eric.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's not as surprising then, but
yeah.
we're just going to see a really good
We
Blitzcrank
were told
player.
it was Mythic, so this is not our fault, you know.
Well, now I'm just excited because we're seeing like the best Blitzcrank in the server playing it. So I think it could be
I
really
want to
good.
step in here. This is correctly communicated to the teams. I just forgot.
He just hates us as captains.
I forgot that this game was now.
But yeah, aside from that, there's not a whole lot to talk about in the runes department.
Dark Harvest on Jin. I mean,
I was about to say that might
that's
signal like a
not
lethality
like
build.
crazy, but it's definitely like an exciting one.
Yeah,
I also
is
think Electrocute on Echo is totally a fair option, but I think in jungle a lot of times people prefer the Dark Harvest.
Yeah, I think Electrocute's a bit better if you're trying to look for like early skirmishes, and then like Dark Harvest in theory scales better, but I've never been a huge fan of Dark Harvest in the jungle, so it just like takes too long to scale and do damage. But
It does,
to see
but
how
when
it
their
plays
when their games seem to have like 30 kills in them, I think it can
That's
scale
true,
pretty
that is
well.
true.
So
we'll have to see how he plays it out. I think both junglers. Cam's opting for like a 3 camp into reset and try to buy this Dark Seal and try to accelerate his gold lead. I think this is a pathing he told me about a while back on Echo, which is super interesting. You're just trying to accelerate your gold as much as possible. And Alana's just
Definitely.
opting into like a full clear kind of setup, 3 camps bot side, and then we'll see what they do here.
yeah, I mentioned this clear when we were watching Apari play it last game. He opted to go for the start on blue, but I think this recamp into either a gank or an instant back Dark Seal is really a good play, especially when it
Yeah.
looks like it'll work here.
The gank is coming out here. Blake is ghosting here. The ghost flash Nimbus cloak, and he does manage to get out here.
Good
Both
flash
sums
to
are
get
though.
out of the Echo stun there, but I mean, you get both sums, and now Cam just buys the Dark Seal, and it's a really
It
good
looks
play.
for the exact same play bot lane, I'm pretty sure. So
I think one thing I want to watch is Stanley CS this game, because I think
Yeah.
Joel does an insanely good job of CSing on those 3 champs we've been talking about.
yeah,
Like one of the best in the server at CSing, particularly on those champs. And if Stanley's able to kind of hold even with him, then I think the matchup can scale really well. But I've seen Joel get pretty big CS leads over a lot of the players in the server.
yeah. I think it's a lot easier for him to farm on the Ziggs compared to the Syndra, but we'll have to see how it
Oh,
goes.
it's easy. It's definitely easier, but that's kind of what makes it challenging for the Syndra and why we kind of have to watch it.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm tripping beans. It looks like Cam just does go for the sweeper in the bot side bush, and then goes to pick up the crab, and might look back for a wraparound gank here onto the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank does spot it out.
I have to be careful not to get hooked under turret.
Oh, the stun does manage to come out though. Does dodge the hook. Plays it super well. Looks like here they do get the 3-hit proc.
Oh.
The flash E, and
Wow.
Eric does pick up the kill with the ignite. Super well played from him. The Blitzcrank is super low, but the kill does go back onto the Aphelios. That is kind of what you want to see. Trade 1-for-1 jungler for support, but ADC gets the kill is definitely what you want to see from the side of Midwives, in my opinion.
That was insane, Eric flashing in there and getting that
Yeah.
first blood. Oh, if he could have just lived there, that would have been a huge play, but still good overall. You get the first blood, but I feel like it's getting one back really good for his team as well.
Yeah, I think that's just like a testament to how much Eric knows Blitzcrank damage, the flash E, knowing that you have enough damage with the ignite to get the kill. Super well played from him.
Alana is fully cleared. Kind of exciting to see what she goes for here. Might be able to get a playoff.
Eric
It's gonna be
is looking
difficult,
for this
though.
hook. The hook does go through. The CC chain is there. Alana is here as well, but Dean is dropping really low. The Aphelios does have enough damage.
Oh!
The flash coming out, but the auto does manage to pick it up still. 1-for-1, and the kill does go over to the Sejuani. Again, the ADC is still picking up gold from the side of the Midwives, and the kill is going on to your like tankier members from the side of Milky
Another
Way,
hook.
so it's not perfect. Looks like Cam is still trying to get this play back. Does manage to CC up Alana, but no play here after a lot of excitement around this spot lane early as we
Yeah.
expected though.
both mid laners farming really well, but Joel was able to force Stanley's flash there. I think he used the Ziggs W to knock Stanley into the turret range, so Stanley was forced to flash. And now he's going to be really vulnerable to an Echo gank. So I'd like to
Yeah.
see Cam try to punish that flashless Syndra.
Yeah, I think it's like super important. I think Cam needs to like try to force this play mid.
Oh, Avery.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Blake underestimating the CC assassin tank mage Ornn and just gets obliterated by the Ornn ulti.
Of course Avery's insane at Ornn. Ornn is a carry, like, why are
True.
we surprised?
Looks like Cam is looking for the play like we talked about. Stanley is positioned super far up. This might be an angle for the Echo here. Sejuani is in the wings though. The EQ fly. Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Stanley gets the ulti off and Cam just gets obliterated. Wait, Cam has nullifying orb. Or no, Stanley has nullifying orb.
Well played to Stanley there. I mean, he hasn't even backed yet. That's huge he gets that kill.
Yeah, and the nullifying orb. I do like this tech a lot into the Echo Ziggs. Like, you have a lot of magic damage going out from the side of midwives, so I really like this nullifying orb pickup from Stanley. Super well played.
Yeah,
I think
he
it
just
actually-
kind of kited Cam out there. I think Cam thought that was going to be a pretty free kill because, like we said, Syndra had no flash. But I think he had to kind of commit onto her a little bit sooner, maybe with his own flash, just to kind of force it. Really well
Yeah,
done by
Cam
Stanley.
is looking for another play topside here. He knows he has no ulti. Blake's flash is, or Ghost is coming out here. Does get the 3 hit. Might be able to chase him down here, but looks like he's opting to finish up his topside there.
Yep, just using the movement speed from Ghost, just kind of run away there.
Yeah. Now Stanley does arguably have, or doesn't arguably, does have the lead in this lane. With the extra Fiendish Codex over Joel's Tier of the Goddess, so he is going to be way stronger in these trades.
Yeah, I'm curious to see Stanley's build. He's not opting for the tier, which totally viable. Syndra can kind of do either. Going for the injuries, I think that's pretty fair here when you're into something like the Ornn. Gonna be excited to see if he opts for like more damage or kind of more CDR.
Eric is opting to just chill in this bush. Joel has a ward there. It spots it out, but does just opt for the satchel charge to push him away, and no play here as well. Looks like the next fight should be around this Mountain Drag. Mountain Drag typically is like kind of weak early game because it's like percentage armor and MR, I'm pretty sure, and it tends to scale a bit better. We'll have to see what they opt for here. Because you do have a line for this dragon, but everyone else is here. They look for a play onto Eric here. He does get chunked out with the electrocute. The hook coming back over. Dean is opening up with the curtain call, but Hog has an angle on him and has the white-red, so he's just going to sit here and do the funny shuriken thing and kill Dean off. Super well played. Just a really awkward curtain call and dragon fight overall from the side of Milky Way.
That's a little disappointing because Sejuani had just gotten 6, so you actually had the level 6 advantage on your jungler there.
Yeah.
So I think if they could have got more of a straight up fight, that could have actually looked pretty good, but yeah, Hong just kind of ran him down for the mispositioned curtain call.
Yeah, and he is opting for like the lethality Jin setup. Should be like a Ghostblade, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be Ghostblade.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure on Jin builds. I imagine it's like
Ghostblade.
Ghostblade.
Funny and build Duskblade, I guess, but it's probably gonna be Ghostblade.
Yeah, and once again we're seeing like the Hong carry train is starting to come online 3-1 on the Aphelios. That's sort of where you want all your gold. Echo's a little far behind compared to the Sejuani, which you never want to see, but at least your ADC is fed, you know. And it looks like Stanley does just trade the ult. Cam's looking for a play here, but not really much to be gained. Just trying to sequence back into his topside, pick up camps, try to get a little stronger. Looks like there is an angle for this dragon as well for Milky Way, so they are choosing to just start it up.
It's a pretty good pickup for them.
Yeah.
Definitely think, eventually they have good scaling with like Syndra and Garen and stuff, but eventually you are just going to get outscaled by a Aphelios Ornn type of composition, so it's huge to get that first dragon and start your soul stack.
Yeah, I would agree. And also like mountain drags on like Garen and Sejuani just have extra value because you get like natural resistances. Garen with the W and like Sejuani with her passive. So getting these early is like super good. It's like Cam is trying to trade the Rift Herald in response. Rift Herald is typically seen as like a bit stronger early game because it starts your gold acceleration a lot faster. And it can open up the map for you a little more compared to like just flat stats from Dragon. So we'll have to see how Cam utilizes this Rift Herald that he just picked up.
And if Stanley's not careful here and drops, you could always combine it with Ziggs and really just turn damage.
Yeah, looks like he did get the E off. The ulti coming out from the Aphelios with the green-white has a lot of range. And is just sitting here and peppering him with the shurikens.
Stanley
And
got
does
away
manage
with 1 HP mid lane. We didn't see the play, but it looks like he and Cam both went flash for flash. Here we go.
Good ulti from the side of Joel here. Almost managing to pick it up, and I think Cam just had to use the ulti to get out of there.
Stanley, yeah,
Super
barely
close,
got away.
Yeah. Super well played from Stanley, just managing to live on a sliver of HP.
Yeah, and he lived and was able to get them so low in the process that they don't really have the health to try to do a Rift Herald play right now.
Yeah, looks like the current call is coming up. Kathy is blocking correctly. Support gap or something, surely.
Huge flash!
A huge ult and managed to kill Joel here. Super well played from Alana.
Yeah, she's been doing really well in the Sejuani. I mean,
Yeah,
as we
2-0,
expected,
gapping the shit out of Cam. That's really fucking funny.
like we saw the stats, so I'm not surprised, but just
True.
really playing well. I don't think I've seen the pick, and yeah, I didn't know she had it.
Yeah.
Didn't know she had Sejuani in her pool, but she's showing why it's kind of a feared pick. Maybe that needs to start getting banned.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what her next champion would be after the Sejuani, considering she hasn't been contested. I guess we might see in the Fearless draft, but we will have to see.
If they
They
get
make
there.
it out of this game, yeah. A good roam by Eric does manage to hit the hook, and Eric does manage to pick up the kill. Unfortunately, the Demacian Justice, I believe the ulti is called, does get used and does take the Ornn. So I did get it right. Let's fucking go! I'm so smart.
Definitely a little bit of a annoying death as Avery, but he's doing a really good job in this matchup of just
At least it went on to the Blitzcrank. Cam is looking for another angle here. The knockback onto the Syndra does come through. The Blitzcrank is here, and the ulti comes out from the Syndra and does manage to pick up the Ziggs here. Eric O is just all over the map here, like playing super well.
Yeah, he opted for that early Swifty boots and is just putting them to use.
Yeah. Looks like Hong might be going for a play here. Has the purple gun. The W coming out from Jin, trying to root up the Aphelios, does manage to juke it out.
Definitely an interesting game state here. You have the bot lane of Midwives doing really, really well, but the rest of the map going pretty well or favorable for Milky Way. So kind of what you want to see in a game. Like this is kind of setting up to be a pretty back and forth close one.
Yeah, I think Ornn might be like pretty even with Garen, but outside of that, the mid jungle is just so far behind their counterparts on Milky Way. So we'll have to see how they play out the rest of this game. Looks like Cam is still trying to force plays onto Stanley here. Has not worked the past 3 times, but it's sort of like the avenue of attack I think you need to take. Just try to get this shut down. Looks like Cam does just drop the Herald, trying to get some of the plate value. I think he did get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's just like 2 plays.
That's all they're getting there is huge as as Milky Way and kind of deny them anything more. Because when you have Ziggs, I mean, they're such a danger.
Yeah. Oh, flash hook from Eric does go a little wide here, but support flash kind of not super important.
Yeah, he just wanted Hex flash.
Yeah, honestly, true. Yeah, and I think on the Storm Razor already is Aphelios. This is really where you want to be. This item is a really good 1-item spike for Aphelios. Should be pretty strong in these team fights. Blake is sort of just walking up at the Ornn and pressing all his buttons. Ornn is kind of tanky with the Sunfire as well. If you're eating in, nothing really happening. Awesome. Super cool top lane gameplay, I think.
Very fun, very fun. We gotta give credit to Stanley though. I mean, he's playing really well, and let's remember that he first picked this on blue side, so
yeah.
Completely blind into the game and is farming the best in the game, 2-0. Hadn't died to those ganks. I mean, just super.
Yeah, he's absorbed so much pressure for his team. Is super strong, all while being blind first pick. My goat has arrived on the Rift, bro. I think Cam is opting for the Nashor's Tooth here first on Echo. I think this is pretty common for like jungle Echo setups. You kind of want it for like the extra clear speed that it offers, and it just has a lot of DPS when you get to it.
It's definitely good. You do lose a little bit of that extra playmaking opportunity from not having the rocket belt to kind of get you into range, but the
Yeah.
clear speed and the damage definitely are really good.
Yeah, and it looks like the next dragon is going to be an Infernal. Joel is on like a really awkward base, so he has to find a good potential TP angle. Cam is spotted out on this ward and might get
Oh, he's
CC'd up.
caught
The
out.
ulti comes out from the Sejuani. The ulti comes out, but everyone has arrived on the scene to try to kill him. Has to burn the flash as well as the ulti to try to get out of here. Eric does also drop pretty low, so there's still a potential fight angle from the side of Midwise, I think.
Yeah. As long as Hong is full health with a Lulu next to him, there's definitely a fight angle.
Oh my gosh, Hex Flash is in, drops super low. The hook comes out. Oh my gosh, the stun from the Scatter of the Weak pulling through from the Syndra. And
Oh, a little bit of anti-synergy, but oh!
The turn call coming out. Let's see how fancy Joel's feet are. And it does not seem that his feet are fancy enough, and he does go down to the curtain call. He's still looking to contest this. Big shield from Echo and the Lulu, but Eric is still here on the flank. There still could be a really easy kill angle here. Oh my gosh, and Hong is here to rip them apart. The ulti coming out and just ripping the enemy team to shreds. Both frontliners are down for the side of Milky Way, and he's still looking for more. The red-white with the ghost on top, and he's just fucking sending autos into him. The ghost Garen coming in. The flash EQ or QE onto the Helios, and he's just fucking dead.
So really huge by Bilgewater turn this back around because it was kind of a little bit of an overstay by Midwife. Stanley had run out of mana, or by Milky Way, I'm sorry. Stanley had run out of mana. Eric was super low. Sejuani didn't have ultimate, and you can't really take a fight against the Aphelios when he has everything up and you don't have very much up. Yeah, Avery not having teleport there, wasn't able to match that play. But Dragon is still just kind of sitting there waiting to be taken.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm being told to restart my Discord stream. Alright. What timer are you at, Fury?
17:50.
Yeah, okay, we're at the same time then. And it looks like there's a potential play onto Dean here with the Echo. Good stun coming out from Cam and just picking up a free Jhin kill here. In exchange for Joel getting killed by the Syndra here. They're still trying to get this Infernal Drake. This Infernal Drake has a lot of value. Percentage adaptive force is super good, so
definitely.
We're just trying to start it up, peel it back. Alana has the read though, and has just opted for the Rift Herald, I believe. Second Rift Herald is pretty good, just trying to open up the map once again. Felios picking up first tower bot side. But yeah, Milky Way is just making sure that there are wards on this dragon at all times. Avery is going to be here for this fight this time. It looks like Garen is also here with the ghost, and it looks like they just choose not to fight for the dragon.
Yeah, this is huge though. I mean, Alana very smartly went and started taking the Rift Herald, and I don't know if they didn't know or if they just didn't feel confident either way trying to do the dragon, but now you get the Rift Herald and you might still be able to contest dragon.
Yeah, and now that Blake is in this red side, it looks like they are just going to start the dragon now, so they will get something in response for this Herald. So
yeah, they heard the Herald get taken and saw that as their time to go, and yeah, so pretty even trades overall.
Yeah, I think the Infernal has a bit better scaling, but once again, Heralds will always give you like good gold generation. So it looks like it is going to be the Chemsoul. I think the most underrated part about Chemsoul is actually the plants are so fucking good on this map. Like,
oh yeah,
the super good vision cone to put wards on one makes it really hard for supports to ward in the jungle when the plants are up. And the big blast cones can actually function as engaged. The ulti coming out from the Syndra does manage to get the ulti off in time for the Echo to get out of there. Eric is looking for a hook. The hook gets hit onto the Aphelios, and Blake does manage to pick up a kill, but it goes 1-for-1 with the Ornn picking up the Blitzcrank in response.
Yeah, that was just a little bit of a 5v4 because Jhin was not quite there. You saw the call at the very end.
Yeah, but managing to go 1-for-1 and trading support for ADC is a trade you will take every time as Milky Way, in my opinion.
Definitely.
And it looks like he has opted for the Infinity Edge. This 2-item spike on this Aphelios should be like stupid strong. Like he should be ripping and tearing as the Aphelios. So we'll have to see how he does in these team fights. If I was Ornn, I'd be looking to prow his upgrade over everyone else's. This is like your strongest champion in the game by far, and you should really want to get these plays off. Cam is looking for this ward. Jhin is over the wall. He's just autoing the Jhin down, or the Jhin is just autoing him down. Just get the trade off, but the fourth shot plus the harvest. Jeez Louise. And Stanley is here to try to kill the Aphelios. The root does come down, but Blitz was not able to get in range in time for the hook, so.
Yeah, important to note that Hong will have flash for this next fight, where he did not the previous one, so definitely make him harder to kill.
Yeah. Baron is up, so that's probably like the next objective that both teams should really look for. Chemsoul is not up for another 3 minutes, so they might just try to play for the clock a little bit, try to get more items, scale up a little bit. The side from either side, really. Just both teams are looking to try to scale up a little bit, and play the next fight as well as they can. Looks like Chem does have an angle onto the Jhin here. The stun does come out, and the Super Mega Death Bomb or something. I don't know what it's called. The Ziggs ult comes out. Mega Inferno Bomb. That's what it's called. Does come out and manage to pick up the kill. So
yeah, really good flank by Cam there. Catching
Yeah.
him out in that stun. At that point, I mean, you're just dead if you get hit by the stun.
yeah, Cam is a known Echo enjoyer, and he knows the ranges of that W. Alana is looking for an engage here. Does Q in. Does get taken pretty low. The Radiant Virtue health is keeping her alive a little bit. But Blake does have an angle onto the Echo here with no ulti. The Demacian Justice does come out, but it is blocked, but he still manages to get the kill because so much damage will put onto the Echo already. And Stanley is just holding the rest of the team hostage. The ulti comes out as blocked by the Lulu ulti. Super well played from Kathy. But he does live on one. But Joel flashes in with the auto, and the Nexus and the curtain call gets the fucking
Dean was
Aphelios
able
on the
to step
side.
Aphelios.
Yeah, and it's just a chaotic fight all over the place, but it looks like it is going to go in the side of Milky Way. Kathy is living for so long, but the Blitzcrank and the Garen are just able to clean up the rest of this fight. So super well played from the side of Milky Way. Also, I thought BMing by backing was not allowed, but I guess that's allowed for people that aren't named me or something. Surely I'm just not being a victim or something. Anyways, looks like it could be... yeah, not really much can be done. I think they're too low to do Baron. Blake is gonna opt for the tower take here. Cam is here, but I don't know how much you can really do into the very tanky Garen. So
Yeah, Garen's a little bit of a problem now. Unless Aphelios is there hitting him, Echo and Ziggs do not really have the ability to kill him.
yeah, he is just so fucking tanky. This champ's so fucking annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and even if Aphelios is there, if you don't play it perfectly with the peel and stuff, he's just gonna kill you anyway.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how this goes. Next objective should be this Chemsoul, our Chem Dragon. 30 seconds. Sorry, I can't speak. 30 seconds
Blake
on this.
Picked up Steric's Gauge as well, so even harder to kill.
Yeah, and we do see the Ornn ulti, or the Ornn upgrade coming out onto the Aphelios. Should be like super strong for the 1v9 ADC potential. And we do see another fight getting ready to gear up around this dragon. Chem really needs to find a good angle on these Echo Ws. Otherwise, I don't think the fights are super good for the side of Midwives. Oh my gosh, there's Wani ulti coming out, just locking up the Echo, and super good pick from Alana here.
That was amazing. And the hook. Wow.
Yeah, and just managing to pick up Joel as well. And it looks like this Chem Dragon should be going over to Milky Way here. Super good pick from Alana here. Just knowing you need to burn all your CC on the Echo so you can't ulti out and just kill him on
this should be
first
Baron
rotation.
as well, I think, if they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cam just thought he could get a chunk onto Dean, but didn't respect the ultimate by Alana. And once you get hit by one layer of CC, you're
just done for.
You're not gonna be able to
Yeah.
survive.
And it looks like they're just gonna rotate straight into the Baron here.
I'm just really impressed with how Milky Way's playing into both the Echo and the Ziggs. I think both those picks are really, really good performers for Goal and Cam usually, and they're kind of shutting them down.
Yeah, I think they're playing it super well. Super good route from Dean to make sure the Ornn can't get away with the Blast Cone. Flash coming out from the Ornn here. Might be able to live a little longer. Blake is in the middle of 5 people though. This Echo Stun should come out here, and the ulti coming back for a huge chunk. And it looks like this fight might go the way of Midwives here. Just managed to pick up 4 in a row, but the Curtain Call does pick up 2 in response on the back side of this fight. And
yeah,
looks like,
Dean's ultimate kind of saved that play, and that was looking
yeah.
really clear.
It does make it so they can't do Baron as well, because if Elias did die there.
Yeah, the Baron would have been a complete flip. I mean, I would say they'd be pretty in control of the game at that point. But I think what happened there was Milky Way just kind of chased into the jungle, got mispositioned, weren't really in like their front Echo they kind of want to be, and just kind of let Echo kind of bump up, and then you have Hong kind of hitting untouched on the side.
Yeah, I think it was like a really good position to get the 4-man Echo ulti back. Big splash of damage that surprises a lot of people on the ulti, so super well played from Cam there.
Stanley's getting close to his death cap. That'll be an absolutely massive spike when he picks that
Yeah, Stanley silently has been doing a lot of work on these fights, in my opinion, like getting a lot of good scatter of the weeks, picking off these super important carries, so really like his performance so far on the Syndra as well. And also Blake is just Beyblading across the entire enemy team because Garen is a really cool champion.
Yeah, Garen is doing Garen things.
Yeah.
Definitely still anybody's game though. I mean, this is a really good game from both teams so far. It's what you want to see.
Yeah, game is still up in the air. It's definitely a little rough because I think Milky Way has a bit of a gold advantage in 3K. However, I think the scaling from the other side is a little bit better, so the clock kind of favors them, if you know what I mean. So looks like both teams are gonna gear up for this Baron again. Looks like Jin is opening up with the ulti, but Hong picks off the fucking Blitzcrank, but he's in range of the Cinder combo, and he goes fucking crazy with the white gun. These are the team fight guns that you kind of want, but Blake does have the flank angle and is able to get on top of him. Traded 2 for 2 here. The support for the mid and ADC, or support ADC for mid and ADC, which is definitely a trade you want as Milky Way. So
yeah, Hong went so aggressive there, flashing in.
Yeah, it does manage to pick up 2, but is traded back with the Syndra, able to hit abilities on him super easily. So
yeah,
once again,
another upgrade coming through for the Ornn as well.
Yeah. Does manage to get the Moonstone upgraded. It's typically standard. Blake is kind of CC'd here, but the Syndra is just able to layer out so much damage, and the Blitz, the Garen just fucking spinning through the entire team. Jeez Louise. Yeah, Stanley is kind of setting up Blake for success here. Does manage to hit another scatter of the week onto the Ornn here, and just
yeah, Stanley's playing super well. So is Blake, obviously, but that scatter of the week was massive.
Yeah, I think Stanley is setting up Blake to do so much in these fights. It's kind of illegal. And it looks like the Baron is started up from the side of...
Yeah, Echo dead for 20.
Yeah. Yeah. Should be a really free Baron for the side of Midwives here. Or not Midwives, Milky Way here. And I'd say the game is pretty comfortably in Milky Way's hands now. This Echo has just not been able to do the thing that he really needs to do. This Garen and the Sejuani have just been too much of a barricade for him to try to get access onto the backline. So
yeah, it's definitely a hard game for him at this point.
Yeah, looks like the next objective should be the Chem Soul or the Chem Dragon. So we'll have to see if there's going to be another big fight over it. The Ornn has started giving items to his team. He has the Infinity Edge upgrade, Edge of Finality, I think it's called. And the Moonstone upgrade, I don't know what that's called off the top of my head. So it looks like another scatter of the week on Kathy, and just picked off with the Curtain Call. Jeez, the damage is crazy from the side of Milky Way here. Utilizing these long range pick abilities super well. So Chem is spotted here. Another scatter of the week from Stanley, and he just gets obliterated. Jeez. Super well played from
Yeah, that's crazy.
Stanley there. Stanley just has a lot of the vision setups that he needs to find these really key scatter the weaks on Syndra, so.
Dean with the ult has the Axiom mark at this point, so not really worried.
Yeah, this ult has like a 0-second cooldown, and Milky Way should be trying to look for the end here, honestly. They have like a lot of, or they don't have great siege, but like you have Baron and stuff, so you're trying to fish for like these engages with like the Blitzcrank pick and the Syndra scatter the weak, so.
You know, I mean, I said before the game that I thought it'd be kind of decided in bot lane, but it's not looking like the case at all. I mean, the midway bot lane got the lead, but I mean, this solo lane performance, as well as Alana, and just really the whole team playing well, but the solo lanes in particular are just playing so well.
Yeah, Stanley is finding every single scatter of the weak angle that he could possibly want in the universe, and Blake is there on the flanks every single time just to make sure that they're able to pick up a kill. Another great W from Jin, just to like poke out Cam, and he has to base already. Looks like another CC coming down. The Blitzcrank is running in, does get chunked, and the ulti from the Garen just to secure the kill. Another pick for them, but they're all like a little low, and they might have to take a reset here.
Yeah, I mean, Aphelios does damage at this point, but they
the
can't.
ulti comes out and does manage to pick up the Blitzcrank here. Super good. Mega Inferno Bomb from the Ziggs here.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah, but Alana is managing to pick up.
Cam's behind him.
Cam's behind them. Super good flank, and the ulti shut back onto the Jin here. Does manage to get the kill. Super good flank from Cam, but does manage to go down to the Garen here. A bit of a hero play from Cam. Super good flank. Found a super good angle.
Yeah, that's crazy, picking off both the Syndra and the Jin there. That was a really clean echo play, so well played to him. But at the end, Garen showed up and kind of didn't do it.
Yeah, Garen might find another here. Just walks onto the Ziggs here and just spins on his yordle ass.
Well, it was looking good for a moment there. Then Garen did his thing.
Looks like Hong is here. The flash Q from the Garen. The Snarex does come out, but the ulti comes out from the Ornn, and 1,000 gold shutdown goes on to Hong here. The oops, love that. Not the oops, bro.
That's pretty big, getting that gold on the Hong. I mean, he's getting close to full build himself.
Yeah, I do like the oops. That's really fucking funny. Love that for him. Oh my gosh. Very intense game still, though. Like, both teams are kind of eager. Another good scout of the week from Stanley. The ulti comes out from the Lulu, but just gets fucking obliterated by the Syndra. Press R, no counter play. Looks like Cam is here on the flank. The ulti comes out from Jin.
Stanley's hitting every stun right now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is a little gross. The Proto Belt in just to secure the kill. Does get hit by the Jin.
Gonna die though.
Yeah, doesn't manage to ulti in time. Really unfortunate. Serves you right. That's really fucking funny. Yeah, Joel might be a little too far up here. Another scatter of the week could be coming out from Stanley. Oh, another stun. No one in range to follow up though. Avery does manage to pick up top tower, I guess, for what it's worth.
Lethality Jin's actually getting so much value this game, even if like the matchup itself didn't go that good. He's playing so well off of like supporting the other carries.
I think the Lethality Jin does sort of play into like that utility ADC thing that I was talking about earlier. It's like your ulti is up a lot more. You're just trying to play for like backline shoot people, slow them down for like the Garen to get in range, or like to follow up on like the Syndra scatter of the week so that you're not in danger from the echo. So I do like this adaptation from Dean as well. It's like Avery might be caught out here a little bit. The Beyblade of Doom is spinning on the Ornn. I think he takes damage though. The ulti coming out from the Ornn here is trying to CC up the Garen, and Felios is here to pick him up as well. So 1 for 1. Ulti burn from the Ornn and Flash, so it's a little rough. Hong did also burn the Flash. Another scatter of the week on Syndra. The ulti comes out and does manage to pick up Kathy, but they do trade for the Aphelios here, and it looks like Dean is opening up with the curtain call, but has to cancel it immediately because he knows Echo is there to threaten the kill here.
That's pretty huge. I mean, you killed both the big solo laners there. Stanley had a big damage play, but a little bit too far up and got punished.
Yeah, looks like it could be a potential Baron angle from the side of Midwives.
Hong
They
is
need their
split from the
Aphelios
team.
here, but he's kind of caught out or out of position. Kev going in, ulting out just in time. Alana going in. Good CC from Avery to hit the Jin there, and it looks like this might be a fight in favor of the Midwives, and it looks like Hong barely lives with a sliver of
Baron,
HP.
I think. Yeah.
And it should be just Baron for free for the side of Midwives here.
Huge by Midwives to get themselves back in this game. That knockup by Avery was kind of disgusting as well. 3-man
Yeah.
knockup in that choke.
Yeah, that knockup was super big. They do manage to pick up Baron. The soul is up though, so they do have to rush to it immediately to try and contest, hopefully.
I mean, Alana's dead for 30. They might get there and take it before Alana's even spawned.
Yeah, they do have to contest with the famous Garen in a bush, so we'll have to see if they are able to spot out the Garen
They
flank
are
here.
all sticking together, making the right call there. And,
They do also have the Blitzcrank here. They do have to watch another Scout of the Week found onto Joel here, so it should just be the free Chemtech Dragon. Hopefully
in the
they don't.
bush.
The Garen in the bush.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, the Garen in the bush! The prophecy! And it looks like they do manage to pick up the.
Oh my
I feel like
God.
the Blitzcrank hook to hit the Ziggs as well, and 2 for 0 for the side of Milky Way here. The ulti does come out, but nothing is really found here. Garen is still ghosted and is looking for the flank angle here. But Cam does manage to pick up Eric for free, and the Garen is still looking for this flank, but cannot engage onto the Ornn here. And Cam's just playing his ranges super well. The ulti comes out, but still gets hit by it. His ulti is right on top of the parallel convergence.
Oh,
though.
blast
And
into the team.
Lana gets blast planted into the team, and Aphelios is there to try to shred the tanks apart. Stanley does manage to find a combo. Cam ultis in time, does manage to get the E onto the Syndra here, and does manage to pick up the kill. So far, it is a 2 for 2.
That's
in this
unlucky for
fight.
Stanley there. The Echo E followed his flash, so
Yeah,
wasn't able to get away.
that's a super hard thing to time, though. Like that
It's
shit's so
luck.
fucking annoying.
Let's be honest. It's luck most of the time.
Yeah, as 2 Echo TM players, that's like 50-50 RNG half the time you're not planning for it. Cam does get caught out here by the Garen and the Beyblade into the ulti. Just managing to pick him up. Super good angle from Blake here as well.
It's getting a little sloppy for the side of Milky Way, but definitely still in a pretty commanding spot when the Garen's with the team as they make a play. But I mean, you're seeing Hong's damage at this point. It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah. Wait, what did they say in chat? I don't think Dean will float up for me. Can't go bot. Blake will get me.
Oh.
True. Oh my lord. Super back and forth game. Still super undecided, honestly. Either team could take it right now, still, honestly.
Yeah, this is best game I've seen so far of the tournament. So really credit to both teams.
Yeah. Definitely the most hyped game for sure. I'll have to see how the fight decides to break out. They have to respect this Garen and
Oh,
super hard.
I mean, Aphelios is chunking Garen at this point now.
And it looks like the curtain call is opened up onto the team. Oh my gosh, that's an insane amount of damage from the 4th shot ulti. The lethality Jin paying off dividends, just able to chunk from range, kind of like what you need. Cam's trying to position really aggressively here. The Garen is in the bush once again. Do they know? Does Q in, but does manage to get the Q off in time to stop him from getting this play off. So Avery does manage to get it to bot tower as well. I was
big.
not paying attention to him just split pushing away the game.
I'm not sure why they don't have someone matching him here. I mean, either Syndra with teleport can match him and TP if there's a play, or Garen can easily just beat him, I think. But
Yeah, they just
Look
have
at
to give
the
him the free tower. And it looks like
other
he's just
one.
going to get another inhib tower.
definitely
Does
a
manage
little bit
to
of a
walk away from
play.
the stun as well. So, oh, Blake is on a flank here. This does manage to get straight into the team, but I don't think he does enough damage to the Aphelios, and he's just getting torn apart by the Aphelios shred. Oh my gosh, this could be a potential angle for the side of Midwives here. Super good
Yeah.
defensive play.
Yeah, I mean, their Aphelios is scaled and they're kind of just death falling at this point.
Yeah.
Jet
Oh
behind
my
them with
gosh, the
gold.
flash into the Syndra just to ego out a little bit, and then the Jin ulti from behind, but it looks like there's not able to do much, and they are going to take an inhib here. Looks like, look at
that's
Hong's
game.
damage, by the way. Bro is just sitting there spinning on people with the white gun. The ulti comes out, but like Cam manages to pick up the Jin in response, and Hong does revive with the GA, and it looks like this is an end angle for the side of Midwives here.
Wow.
Dang, what an exciting ass game. Hong
That was a
does manage to
crazy
clutch
game,
it out
man.
on the Aphelios in the end. You could never underestimate this man's 80 carries. That was like a perfect showing. Super insane series.
Yeah, that game was awesome. Credit to both teams.
Yeah, Cam, even though he didn't have the greatest early game, I think his some of his hero plays at the end of the game really made it so his team wasn't out of the running just yet.
Yeah,
So
he found a couple good picks and was just creating enough havoc that it was hard for them to focus on just dealing with Hong, because if they weren't worrying about Cam, he still was able to find like assassinations.
yeah, so it's super insane series. I think Stanley deserves a lot of credit for making that game as long as it was. Bro was finding every scatter of the week known to mankind. Like,
For well.
but yeah, you can't beat Aphelios Lulu late game, so a little unlucky, especially with the Ornn on top. So
All right, yep, that does wrap up the bracket. So the final
So I
outcome
guess
of the
that'll set
bracket,
up a
yeah, the final bracket on Saturday is as
Milky Way
showing.
versus Rats match
Oh,
for
I'm
the
muted on
final
Discord.
spot.
Sorry, I was talking, so hopefully that came out okay on
Oh,
stream.
yeah.
But my bad. Anyway, that does wrap up the bracket. So this was the end of the games that were played on Saturday. So we will be moving into the games that were played on Sunday. So we have one last up for you today, and as Gruer already said, that's going to be the Rats versus Milky Way. Since Milky Way did end up with the second seed, we had side selects going into this one, so I'll go ahead and try and get us into that game real quick. But after this one, we're done for today, and tomorrow is just going to be the Fearless Best of 3. So qualifying game between Milky Way and Rats. Winner faces Midwives, who will have side select in the first game of the Fearless BO3, and I will try to get us into that as quickly as possible. But I'll give the stream back over to you guys.
all right, I want to get some water. Actually, I'll be right back.
Quick break. I am glad we're not going to be seeing a rematch of the earlier game. We're going to get to see a different matchup for Rats here. I think that's pretty exciting. And yeah, shout out to Midwives as well, running the lower bracket. They lost that first game to Milky Way, go through the lower bracket, and beat them in the rematch to slot themselves straight into the finals. That's pretty awesome.
All right, sorry, I'm back. Just had to get some water. You know how it is.
You're good. Got to stay hydrated.
Yes, sir. So it's gonna be the Rats versus Milky Way.
Yes, it is.
All right. Some champions to watch. Once again, I want to see if they contest Lana on the Sejuani at all.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting choice. I do think Apari's champion pool's pretty good into that. I'm interested to see if he draws so many bans again. I want to see Hadiri on more of a traditional pick for him. I didn't love the Galio.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the Galio was a little rough for him.
Also, it looks like
Overall.
Arnie is going to be in this time instead of Jeremy, so that's another change as well.
Yeah, I think Arnya has played a decent amount into Blake. I think he has like a pretty solid champion pool overall. Has like the Renekton and stuff. It's one of his champions to watch. It's a super good champion right now. I wonder if there's going to be any prio on it.
Yeah, it's a very good champion. It's a good blind pick. He's comfortable doing it, so definitely one to watch if that doesn't get banned. Key matchup. I think this is awesome, especially after we saw Stanley perform so well the previous game. I'm excited to see him play into Hadiri. Definitely a very different player than Joel. We can expect probably anything but the artillery mages. I mean, I'm sure Hadiri could pull them out, but it's not really what he's been showing. So excited to see that, and I hope Hadiri does go back to something maybe even a little more aggressive than the Galio. He's put up good performances on some of the assassins as well.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think he's played a lot of the Swain and beforehand. I think Swain does kind of do bad into the Syndra. I wonder what the Syndra prize is going to be for the series. Stanley did just perform on the Syndra as well. I think it's not a champion they should avoid blind picking because he played so well on it.
Yeah.
I think there were other issues in that game aside from his Syndra performance. So I would not be surprised to see like a return to like the Syndra play.
Yeah, I honestly think that there's an argument to be made for that if you're banning a Stanley champion at this point, it might be better to ban Syndra than Victor. I mean, his Victor's really good, but just with where Syndra is in the meta right now, I think it's a much stronger pick.
Yeah,
It's a lot
and
easier
I think
to
he's
blind
shown.
pick.
I think he's shown like really consistent performance on it. Like, I don't think he's had a single bad Syndra game. So, I would like to see them pivot away from like Victor bans and try to pinch out his mid pool a little bit. I am curious to see if Hadiri does visit the Victor again at some point, or not the Victor, the Vel'Koz, because he did play that for one game. So, and it looks like the key player is going to be Blake and Stav. Blake we already talked about quite extensively in the last series. But Stav has had historically really good ADCs. His Twitch is like the key part of most of the teams that he's on, and I think he utilizes the pick super well. Has been banned and picked away from him a lot, so I'm curious if he has like a better counter into it getting picked, or if he has like other champions ready that for if it gets banned.
Yeah, he did the Draven the earlier game today and wasn't amazing, wasn't bad, like just kind of had a pretty good game. Interested to see if he could get the Twitch himself. I kind of doubt it because it seems like teams are really respecting his Twitch, but if he can't get that, I'd like to see something maybe a little more scaling like a Twitch than the Draven.
Yeah. I think he has performed a bit better on the scaling champions like Kog'Maw and stuff like that. I think his Lucian was also pretty good, to be fair. So I'm curious to see what other champions lie in wait for us in the series.
Yeah, as we get into draft here. So, Twitch was banned, Kane and Evelyn. Okay.
Oh, this is an actual none ban? Okay. So if we want to talk about draft a little bit, the Twitch, Evelyn, Kane, I think makes a lot of sense. Twitch is Stav's best champion. Apari is known for their assassin AP jungler or assassin junglers, and Kane is super good. Blake says this Evelyn champion's OP. I will still fist fight him till the end of time that this champion's not that broken. However,
they weren't going to
wherever.
test it today. Yeah.
However, if they want to ban it, so be it. I think it's a valid ban. And it looks like it's going to be the Nautilus GP Senna into Milky Way.
Yeah.
Senna has been utilized by Milky Way by both the support and the ADC player historically. So I think it's a really good ban. GP is just a good ban into Blake. And the Nautilus is super good into Mythic in general. So
First pick Leona, not the greatest first pick, I don't think, but with how comfortable Mythic is on that champion, I think it's totally fine. And I think he's just wanting to give later picks to the rest of his team. But then on the other side, an instant answer of Renata plus Kalista, I like that a lot because I think Renata's really good into Leona. And the Kalista is just another aggressive pick for Stav that I don't think I've seen him play that one yet, so I'm excited to see that.
yeah, and I think Dean talked about it where like Kalista with Renata as a pairing is super good. It changes like the way Kalista can play in like lane and stuff. I think he talked about it a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure. It was something to that effect. And then Milky Way choosing to pick that Ashe in response to the Kalista. This is a super common Kalista counter pick. You put slows on the Kalista, and the Kalista sort of can't do the dash auto thing that she wants to do. And once again, Alana is on the Sedwani.
I mean, yeah.
playing the neutral champion, just able to do everything that their team needs. So
And then we're seeing a party with the Zac. I believe he played this earlier in the tournament. He beat one of the. Or that might be where their one win came from, was him on the Zac. And definitely performed well on it. And I think that's. I don't know. What do you think about that matchup?
okay, so I think Sejuani, I think Zac does a bit better compositionally into the champions that Milky Way has picked. The jungle matchup, I think Zac is favored because Zac scales a little bit better than Sejuani in my opinion. And also like you have an Ashe into Zac, and Ashe loves, or not Ashe, Zac loves when ADCs have like no ways to get away from him. Like you, as an Ashe, you are burning Ghost or you are burning Flash every time you see a Zac charging up in anywhere. Or like it is so hard to like position yourself in a way where Zac cannot engage upon you if you are like these immobile ADCs. And you really love to see this kind of setup. Plus like yeah, I just think the Zac is typically a little favored in like the stylistic comps that they've picked so far.
Okay.
So.
Well, then
And they choose to ban.
Yep.
They choose to ban Nun and Alawi. I think the Nun is just forgot to ban, didn't say anything, or Ego. Either one works.
And that's a bummer to me because I don't understand how Stanley gets Syndra in the second phase. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
I agree. I think this Nun ban could have been utilized super well for things like the Syndra. I don't know, maybe another Blake champion if you're not feeling like the Syndra is a threat, but it should be on your radar in my opinion, so we'll have to see how it goes. And it looks like they also banned the TF and the Yone.
Definitely pretty good mid laners. I mean, if he kind of thought he was going to go for like a control mage, I think Yone ban makes sense. Twisted Fate's just kind of rising in popularity with this new build he has, where his blue card just one shots you.
Yeah, the full AP blue card, that shit's really fucking funny.
Blind
they
pick
choose-
Akshan's kind of interesting though. I mean, I don't love it, but I guess it's pretty good into most of Stanley's picks.
Yeah, I think it's also like you can threaten to flex it top, I guess, if like you really feel like you can get a good Akshan lane, you can throw it top lane, and it's like leaves it kind of in limbo. So it's like kind of hard to pick versus. But Milky Way doing a really good job, I think. Just picking the Syndra, it's like really safe. I don't think Syndra into Akshan's like that bad for the Syndra. I have no idea.
No,
You
not at
probably
all.
have better information on that.
I think if the Syndra plays well, which how we saw Stanley play last game, I expect him to. I think it's actually really fine for Syndra.
Yeah.
Yeah, Akshan's gonna win lane. He wins lane against almost everyone. But he never really has the ability to kill Syndra, unlike other mages, because if Syndra's just holding Scatter the Weak, Akshan can never go in.
Yeah. And then they just choose to blind the Nasus for Blake.
That's pretty awesome.
That's really funny. I think there are champions that Arnya plays that does counter the Nasus, but I feel like this is a bit of an ego pick from Blake, saying that you can't punish me enough that I can just pick Nasus and just free roll the game. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. And then I think Arnya chooses to opt into Gwen. I have no clue how this matchup goes, but I can't see it being super bad for Gwen. So
Yeah,
I can't see
it's
it being
pretty
super
good.
bad for Nasus. Sorry.
Honestly, I'm not sure either, but I think Nasus blind's fine there. I mean, Nasus blind, but I think he saw what the rest of the team had picked. It's super good into like withering the Callista, withering the Akshan.
Yeah.
Zac doesn't have enough damage to ever kill you once you get like an item. And then
I'm being
Lana,
told
he
by
doesn't really care.
Dean, he meant to pick it just to remove Callista from the game. So
Makes sense. That's totally a viable strat. And I mean, I'm sure Arnya picked what he considers a good matchup. I don't know the matchup that well, but Arnye's pretty well versed in top lane, so I expect him to do pretty well this game. But overall, I think both drafts are pretty exciting, and it's an exciting game because, as we kind of said earlier, the winner of this match goes on to the final day, the best of 3 Fearless draft. It's pretty exciting.
Wait, the loser gets eliminated, right?
Yeah, this is a high stakes match. Winner go home.
Yeah. I think overall, I do like Midwives' comp a little bit more. The Rats have like a lot of early game power though. I don't want to. Hopefully they can utilize it super well. With like the Callista and the Akshan. So
yeah, I think we're ready to get into some of the stats. I'm interested to see some of these champion matchups because I think they could go either way based on kind of player.
Looks like Nasus has just never been fucking picked. That's crazy. Gwen
Need
did
to
win the
change
matchup
that.
last time. And it looks like Zach has historically just stomped the shit out of Sejuani, so that's not too surprising given what I said. I think not being able to punish the Zach early on like a champion is like super detrimental. So I do like the Zach pick from the side of the Rats. There's no matchup on this Akshan versus Syndra data, which is not too surprising. I don't think a lot of our mid laners plays in our Akshan.
Yeah.
And then Ash is kind of beat Callisto, like we said, and Leona has done pretty well in Serenata apparently, but
That's a little surprising to me, but I don't know. At the end of the day, sometimes it's just easier to play the the Leona side of
yeah,
those type of matchups.
yeah, Leona is a little bit of a lower skill execution champion, so
But yeah, I think I love both these drafts. I really think we're setting up for a super exciting game again, just like last time.
yeah. And it looks like player matchups Blake has historically gapped Arnya a little bit. Alana did beat Apari, but has only played versus them once. Stanley has gapped Hadiri historically. Dean is a little favorite in the stop matchup. I think beforehand it was even, and now since they played one game beforehand, it's a little him favored. And Mythic has also always been a bit better than Jacob, so not too surprising there. IMO.
Yeah, I think Mythic has a pretty good matchup into Jacob. Jacob adding Renata to his pool is kind of I like seeing that because I think that can do better into some of Mythic's champions. But traditionally, they're both kind of going for Engage, which is Mythic's specialty, or Jacob's picking the Nami, which Mythic's champion pool counters pretty hard. So not too surprised at that.
And based on past performances, Blake has not performed on the Nasus beforehand. Had a pretty solid KDA, but did not end up winning the game. Arya also has not performed on the Gwen quite recently. It is a harder champion to execute on, so I can't really blame them for that. Pari is 1-0 on the Zac with a 4 KDA. That's pretty impressive. Alana is just maintaining the positive win rate on Sejuani. Stanley is actually overall negative on the Syndra, but I think he's bringing it back with his more recent performances.
Definitely.
Definitely had some super strong showing so far. Hadiri with the first time Akshan. We'll have to see how he does on that. And Dean historically has fucking rolled on the Ashe, 8-1 on this champion.
Yeah.
Stav also performed pretty well on the Callisto last time he played it, so.
And Mythic undefeated. I mean, dang. That's a scary bot lane, the Ashe plus Leona. One loss combined.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking spooky. And Jacob is like 3-3 on the Renata, so overall 50-50 on it. So we'll have to see how the game shakes out.
Here we go. One team will go home, and one team is heading on to a Fearless draft, which, I mean, that can obviously get talked about more tomorrow, but that's super exciting as well, because I think that'll be the first time Scrim Zone's ever had a Fearless draft.
We've had some historically, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Dean could correct
at least
me if
since
I'm wrong,
I've been at least in the last season or so since I've been here.
Wait, have we really not had a Fearless draft? Could have sworn we did. Oh,
You're supposed to know these things. You've been here way longer than me.
I don't fucking know. I swear we've done one for fun. Anyway, Blake is opting for the Aerie setup on the Nasus. It's more of like an E-poke setup when you take the Aerie. So
I'm interested to see how that does, because I think you could go for a scaling rune. I mean, I don't know. I'm curious to see how that does. If he gets a lot of value out of it.
I think it's just like you don't really want to play inside the Gwen's ranges ever, and you just want to try to get farm and get strong. So everything else is like pretty standard. Tempo on the Ashe means it's like more of a ADC Ashe, not the poke Ashe that we've seen before. So
what are you seeing as maybe the obvious win condition for each team?
For side of Milky Way, I think it's just play the timer. Like you just can sit there, play the clock, you outscale. You have Nasus, you have Ashe, you have Syndra. You can just sit there and scale forever. Whereas the Rats, I think you really need to be active. You want to look for these early dragons, early heralds. Just make sure you try to contest them early game and really utilize your early game strength to try to get free kills.
Definitely. I want to point out that I think Stanley did a really good job last game of kind of surviving the pressure he was getting thrown at him, but it's even harder when the enemy team has a Zac, so I'm curious to see if he can pull it off again.
Yeah, Zac does have a bit of a longer range sit and fog, E into the enemy team kind of play style, so it's like a little harder to spot out. So it requires a lot of good warding and a lot of good vision setup from Milky Way to spot out these Zac engages.
Yeah, I mean, Zach's a champ that you kind of have to ward differently than you would against other champions, so
Yeah.
I'm curious if they can do it.
And Stop did hit level 2 first, so they are looking for these aggressive trades using the Q poke, trying to get damage onto Dean. Is half health and has to burn the potion already, so
It's pretty big.
pretty favorable. All
It
right.
does look
and
like
both,
the Ares doing so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
both junglers are just clearing up. Alana is trying to cut for a mid lane gank here, potentially. Or just opts for a little bit of a deeper ward, so. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh no, you're good. I'm excited. I was gonna say I think the Ares doing a pretty good amount of damage, but Arnier does kind of find a nice trade back.
Yeah, getting the fork proc Q into the Nasus just does chop up health bars quite a bit, so you gotta fish for those when you can.
Akshan went for the Ignite, which I think is totally fine, but gonna have to see if he can get value out of it.
Yeah, it is sort of hard to get in range of the Syndra to get the Ignite off, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I really think the thing to watch is the Syndra here is as long as you don't just ever completely whiff on your stun, the Akshan doesn't really have an ability to go onto you when it's just 1v1.
Yeah, and the Sejuani does have first prio onto the crab. Pari is here though, but Blake is also here as well. Looks like a bit of a crab fight coming out here. No smite for the Zac here. Might have to go down here with the passive. Looks like Blake is just gonna keep hitting the crab. That's really funny. He doesn't get the
insane.
stack off on it too. That's really fucking funny.
Doesn't even give it to his jungler.
Honestly, it's fine. You get like 12 stacks off that. It's kind of worth, to be honest. And it looks like a part does just opt to base here. Neither
Had to use
jungler
the
getting the
flag.
crab. Yeah.
I think that's just a little bit of a Arnier had backed. I don't know if they're not communicating or if maybe they thought the Nasus had also backed, but
The Nasus did back. He was coming straight out of base. So I think it's just like a both junglers were just the normal fist fight over crab, not paying attention to side lanes kind of thing. So
yeah. Okay, so what is Nasus going for? There's no way he's actually gonna build AP, right? Because I
If
mean,
he
Mana
could.
Crystal doesn't build into Sheen anymore, so
yeah, I have no idea what this is for. It could just be like a lost chapter into buy other items kind of thing. Looks like Zac is bot lane here. Might have an engage angle. There are no wards on it, so
yeah, it doesn't have very
Jacob-
many points in the E. That's the only thing, so his range isn't actually that high.
yeah. Jacob is pushing super far up. Dean is trading back. Hadiri is also like kind of low, no mana, so
Stanley's actually just winning the lane right now. That's pretty impressive. Pre-first back.
yeah. Just utilizing the health and mana advantage that he had a little bit. Akshan does cancel his back for free. The Q has such long range that you can sit there and cancel back super easily, so
Yeah, I mean, Stanley's fine though. He has the teleport, so whenever he wants to back, it's not really an issue. Akshan's got to fight a little bit harder to get a good base timing since he doesn't have teleport.
yeah. It looks like Zac is just going for the bot side crab. Try to look for this and then maybe look bot lane. Try to get this bot lane accelerated if he can. Another Q from Jacob, just trying to get poked down in case of a gank here.
Yeah, really even in all the lanes. Farm is super close in all the lanes.
Ulti coming out from the Gwen doesn't manage to really get much, and the Wither dropped onto the Gwen as well, so there's no play there.
Akshan opting for the serrated Dirk first instead of going for just like attack speed or anything. That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Definitely adds a lot of damage, but usually I think you see them go for like the Noon Quiver just to really like buff their wave clear.
Yeah, and it looks like Red Team is just starting the dragon. They should be able to get it with the Callisto Rat, and it looks like they do manage to pick it up. Like, does manage to go down to Arnier though. Super well played. Just constantly using the Q while it has max stacks and getting huge chunks onto the Nasus. And it is the Lost Chapter, like I said. That's really
Okay.
fucking funny.
Well, you love when your last pick comes through, starting off well this game, getting a nice first blood. We're gonna have to track this Nasus build. This is gonna be kind of exciting, but I mean, I don't hate it. Like, you're gonna find value, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like Akshan did rotate down. It's under tower. Dean does go under half. The ulti comes out, but is blocked by the tower, and it looks like Kalista does manage to pick up the Leona here. So
Yeah,
super good
Mythic
trade from the side of the
sacrifices
Rats.
himself so that Dean can get away. I think the E took him a little bit further because it hit it like multiple people and took him to the furthest there, I think. But nice job by Rats really starting this game.
Yeah. It looks like. Yeah, just getting that early Infernal Dragon, getting a couple kills. They're only up 200 gold. I think the side of Milky Way has farmed a little bit better, but having a bit more of like the map pressure is super good for them. So
Yeah, Stanley was able to balloon that farm lead a little bit, mostly in part to the fact that he had the teleport advantage, so kind of caused Akshan to miss a wave.
yeah, and it looks like Alana has opted for the plated steel caps. It's pretty good into their team. It has a little value into Gwen because she does auto a little bit, and versus two ADCs, plated is just always super good. So I do like that build a little bit. Arne does opt for the Merc Treads into the Nasus because he realized that the Nasus is going AP, so I'll have to
Merc
see how much
Treads
value that gets.
value into every single champion on the enemy team this game.
Yeah.
It's a really good purchase. I wouldn't even hate to see Akshan go for that, potentially, if he's struggling, but...
Yeah, looks like he's still positioning kind of aggressively on this Gwen, even though he's half HP. Sejuani is also up there as well.
Yeah, this matchup's going to be interesting to watch because, I think we would say that if Nasus was going more traditional build, Gwen would probably just win, but with this poke, it's kind of different. I think what's going to have to happen is Arne, when he comes off of a reset, for the period of time that he is healthy, you got to time that with like a Zac gank, because if you just sit there and get poked down, you're going to be permanently poked down.
Yeah. Looks like they do have vision on Alana clearing Red Ward and the what is this objective called? The Herald Bush or the Herald Alcove. So looks like a gank is coming out onto the Syndra. Doesn't cue the right person and burns the ulti for nothing. That was a little bit of a mechanical misplay there. Hits the Q but doesn't auto the Syndra and autos a minion instead. That's super unlucky.
I think that would have probably been a kill there.
Yeah.
Good job to punish Syndra kind of overextending. At least at the end of the day, you get her flash, you didn't blow flash, so it's still a positive trade.
Yeah, it's just a little rough. Arya is just perma under tower because the E damage is so big.
Yeah, and at this point, even if Zac came, Arya is too low to do anything, so it's just kind of difficult.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Alana look to try to get like a Rift Herald or something going, because both of her solo lanes are just like permanently having priority.
Yeah, I think it should be a pretty easy access to Herald for Alana here. You have Nasus with full HP and Syndra does kind of have a bit of more wave control than the Akshan, so.
One more E and Gwen might just be straight up dead. This is a really rough spot. Just gonna have to miss a wave to get the reset off.
Yeah, it looks like Zac is here to pick up the wave though, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but now that you see Zac, this gives Milky Way bot lane complete ability to push up to the turret like that, because they know there's no Zac like hiding out in the corner. Yeah, I think right now what's happening is Zac's kind of in a hard place. He feels pressured to cover Arnier because Arnier is doing pretty good with the kill, but now he's struggling because of the poke. But at the same time, you're not putting your attention to trying to put the bot lane ahead. So hopefully we see him going into his bot side jungle right now. So hopefully he can try to find some kind of a play bot, because you have to keep accelerating the Kalista. It's not a big enough lead right now to last you the whole game.
You really want to push the dragon stacking like I was talking about earlier. Try to get many objectives as you can. Looks like the ulti coming out from Dean. The Fate's call to pick him up and the hostile takeover coming out as well. Dean does manage to live on one. The Leona does manage to just try to stun him up, but another kill going over to the Kalista. So
yeah, it's big. I mean, nice roam down by Akshan to force a play to happen before Zac was even able to get there, still able to do something, and now maybe they can turn it into a dragon?
Yeah, you definitely want to get these dragons as much as you can. You want to try to accelerate your dragon stacking.
Yeah, 2 dragons at like 1230 is really huge for Rats comps. If they roll a good
Yeah,
soul here, that could be a really good win condition.
and it
They're
looks
kind of
like they
getting
are
pushed
getting
off.
forced off of it. Oh, the Everfrost Nasus too is very funny. Ulti coming out from the Nasus.
Yeah,
And it looks
and
like they
yeah,
do
they
just
don't
manage to
get
get
it.
forced off of it, so this is kind of bad. You really wanted that second dragon for the side of Rats to really get a win condition going. Looks like it is an Ocean Soul as well, so that would have been a huge win con for them. Having Zac with Ocean Soul is like so disgusting, but
I just love to see the confidence there from Alana and Stanley to be like, we're stronger than you. Like, we can just go force you off of this. Good recognition by them to just go take that, even though they'd kind of technically kind of lost the previous fight due to the bot gank. And I mean, Stanley has a really nice CS lead.
yeah.
Blake has a good CS lead. Bot lane is still going good for Stop, but I mean, it hasn't turned into like a CS lead, so Dean is farmed well enough to be super in this game still. Hasn't even
Yeah.
died. Like, he's doing totally fine.
He does have an item advantage too. Kalista did opt for the boots instead of finishing their item, so they might be a little bit stronger in the 1v1 combat. So
Yeah, the boots make sense, but definitely probably want to get that Blade of the Ruin King completed before you kind of go for that all in.
yeah, we'll have to see where they decide to make their next play. Looks like Alana could be coming down here.
On Vision though, so I think they'll be able to
Yeah,
back it out.
looks like they're just gonna back up. So potentially no play happening here.
Both teams, you know, I think they kind of recognize the stakes in this game. Both want to move on, so I feel like we're seeing a little bit of a slower, like safer early game from both teams.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting that Milky Way does just have a gold lead because of like all the CS advantages they have. So
Yep. CS makes a big difference.
that's there. And it looks like Zac is on the Herald, but it looks like potentially the Nasus has spotted this out and it might not go super well. The ulti coming out,
Oh.
Hadiri flashes into it, and the ulti comes out from Stanley, and a kill going over to the Syndra. Super good arrow from
That was
Ash here.
awesome. But I mean,
Yeah.
also, you saw right there, Stanley played that so patiently. Akshan
Yeah.
started swinging full 180 around him. He did not even try to throw the stun until after the little swing around had ended. Hits the
Yeah.
stun. Dean hits the arrow. Like, you're just, I don't know. They're playing really, really well.
Yeah.
And now you get first turret on your Syndra, solo gold. Like, that is just huge.
This Everfrost Nasus just looks so funny to me.
Yeah, I've seen that's a really funny build. I don't know if I've seen that. Also, the Yomu's on the Akshan actually going for a lethality build instead of like the traditional like attack speed with Gwinsu's even or something like that. So that's really different. I don't know if I love that when you're gonna have to like a pretty tanky team with Sejuani and Leona. But
Yeah, you have a lot of like high HP champions to punch through, so I'm surprised that they opted to go for it here. Maybe they're just trying to assassinate the Syndra. Good dodge from Hadiri on the scatter of the week, so I'll have to see if he tries to turn this. But nothing really happening so far. Pretty even game. The gold lead is still ballooning for the side of Milky Way, the 2k gold lead. Almost entirely just off of CS and getting like that one kill. So looks like there is an engage from Abari here. The ulti coming out too. He does miss the first ulti charge, but the ghost is popped and it looks like he should just live here.
wow.
Yeah. Ooh, just barely not able to get it back. The wither is coming out from the Nasus here.
Oh
and
my
the E
God.
comes out just to like really make sure that he loses the passive proc. And it looks like Alana is also like quietly outscaling the Zac here a little bit. Just has a little more farm than the Zac, just because Zac has been trying to get some new plays off, and Alana's just been hitting her camps, recognizing that you are just the scaling side of the matchup. So
Yeah, both junglers with an empty scoreline, just kind of that nice farm lead. That's good to see for Alana. And I
yeah,
think, you know, at some point they're gonna both start getting involved once these team fights kind of start to break out. But right now, I mean, this next fight could go anybody's way. Maybe if Ras can get a really good Rift Herald play, that could bring the gold lead a lot closer.
Yeah, it looks like the Ocean Dragon is coming up soon though, so I'll have to see how it goes. There, I think both sides have like every cooldown. The Zac ult is like kind of not up yet, but Calypso does have the Bork and a few more components, I think, so they might be like a hair stronger than the Ashe, but it's still super close. Apari with no passive on the Zac as well, so they have to play these fights super carefully. Alana is looking. The E coming out from Apari doesn't choose to go onto the Ashe and just tries to focus on the front line here. The TP is coming out from either Stanley or Blake, and Blake is here. They do manage to pick up the Sejuani, but the Ashe is still untouched on the backline. And it looks like this fight should go the side of Milky Way. There's just so much damage. There is no one on top of the Ashe. I'm surprised Apari didn't just try to get on top of the Ashe there, but she's gone front line. And another scatter of the week from Stanley just to pick up another kill.
I mean, Renata hit a 3-man ultimate there, but it ended up not really doing a ton. I mean, they did pick up the Sejuani, but wasn't enough damage to really get anything further than that, especially once the reinforcements arrived. And that's another dragon, which is just really bad news for Rat's comp, because we've mentioned how they kind of need to snowball, and if you're getting behind on these dragons, it's going to be difficult to force those favorable fights. You do pick up a mid lane turret, which is nice. That definitely makes it a lot harder for Syndra to push up in the lane, as well as the Ashe, so that is pretty good, but not as good as the dragon.
Yeah, and it looks like this is the win con that I was talking about for Milky Way here. You just have to play time on the clock. Like, you outscale super hard. You don't really have to do a whole lot. Blake is opting for even more AP with the Grievous Wounds as well, which is really funny. I do actually like this because I think he is the best applicator for Grievous Wounds on this team. You throw down the E, and then everyone gets Grievous. It's really fucking funny. So, just reducing the Zac healing as well. So.
Yeah, I really like Blake's just been really creative this game, finding value in his champion, even if it's like traditionally not the best matchup.
Yeah.
Wow. Why did we get Stanley Syndra again, guys? We said it before the game, but I mean, man, he's just playing so well.
Yeah, just finding a really good pick onto the Renata here, and Arya burns ulti to try to clear the wave, but it's still 20 CS down on this Nasus, so. I don't know if Dean is at his computer, but I would love to get a stack check on the Nasus. I wonder what if he's even bothering to like stack the Q at all.
I imagine he is a little bit, but just that build doesn't have quite as much damage, so it can kind of be slower.
Yeah, Mythic is here. The E coming out from the Zac here. I don't know if they really can do anything. Gwen has no ulti, so.
Uh-oh, here's Stanley.
Stanley is here as well.
Rare
oh, good cancel from Mythic onto the Zaki. Super good. And it looks like another kill going on to Dean. And it looks like Milky Way is just really taking over this game. So
yeah, it's started to go really in their favor with these last couple plays. And I don't know, you're just seeing the power of their team. Like, Stanley got himself a nice lead. He's now linked up with the rest of the team. Leona, Ashe, Syndra, it's just so easy to just go on to targets. And at this point, I'm not really sure what your main goal is, oh. Okay, nobody dies there, but that was super close. But I'm not really sure what your main goal is here as Rats, because you can't, maybe you can win the side lanes, like maybe that's your strategy. But it just seems to be difficult right now.
yeah, Blake just popping the ulti and the Ghost trying to get out here. Does manage to get out. And it looks like the Sejuani is here as well. They can definitely turn this. The ulti coming out does land onto the Kalista. She's starting to kite back. The hostile takeover is here, but Arnya is just dead, and another kill goes over to Dean. And it looks like the Zac is here for the engage. Might decides not to let it go, and Stav does just die for it. So it looks like another kill.
Once Ashe connects with one auto attack, you're not getting away. That slow is massive, and
yeah,
Kalista's just done for at that point.
Yeah, Arya is opting for the Spectre Scowl next, and another E from Blake, and he's just dead. Looking for the engage here from the Zac here, and does manage to get a kill in response for the support. You will take those, but you're still not in a super great position from the side of the Rats.
No. It's a really impressive game from Milky Way here. Both your carries are deathless at this point, which is pretty impressive when you look at the champions they're into. I mean, Zac, Akshan, Kalista, like neither Syndra or Ashe having a death yet. It's really impressive.
Yeah. Looks like the next objective should be the dragon, and now the side of Milky Way is gonna get these ocean dragons. And honestly, like Sejuani and Nasus with Ocean Dragon is gonna be such a pain in the ass to try to kill, especially since you have this like lethality Akshan. This Akshan is gonna have so much difficulty being impactful in these fights. So
Yeah, I don't love that.
yeah. Kalista does just opt for the Rage Blade setup. This is pretty standard Kalista stuff, so.
Yeah, definitely. You know, maybe if they can find a good Zac engage onto those backline members. Stanley is without flash at this moment, so maybe you could find a pick onto him. That could be a good way to start a fight. But he's chunked him to half already.
Yeah, another ulti coming out from the Renata. Does manage to hit a lot of people, but has to use the Fate's Call to bail him out here. And it looks like another dragon is just going to go the way of Milky Way here.
Seems
Honestly,
like they're
they
kind of split on what they want to do here.
Yeah, they're just sort of dancing around, getting nothing here, and the dragon's gonna go over to Milky Way. They could honestly just walk straight over for Baron if they really wanted to. Just maybe force the fist fight at Baron and see what happens.
Yeah, and it's hard to know for sure, but that kind of movement typically to me is kind of a sign of...
Oh, a good angle from Stanley. Does manage to pick up Jacob here. Is a little bit in the trenches here. Doesn't have the flash, but goes 1 for 1, and Akshan does revive the Renata, so not really worth from Stanley, but it's a very funny ego play.
Yeah, especially after he just bought the book as well, so loses a lot of stacks there. It's a little disappointing, but
Dina is so fucking strong though. Like, look at all this damage that's coming out, and another revive for the Akshan. So
Arnie's here.
Back.
Let's not have dash, or I think Gwen Dash can go over that wall. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Blake is here. Like, the Q does not have any stacks, so this is just the AP Nasus, which is really funny. Yeah, and it looks like they are just gonna look for the Gwen here. Does manage to knock him down with the ulti and the E. The E does so much damage, but another revive from the Akshan here, and they're getting just so much value out of this. But Alana does manage to pick up the kill in response. We'll have to see if Stav is able to get the execute. Does manage to do that, and Stanley is here behind the.
Yeah, he should turn on Stanley
here. Should be able to get it.
Yeah.
And they're just peppering him with the Qs. The arrow coming out doesn't manage to hit. And another scatter of the week found, and another Q. Well played to Stanley. Super good QP. Try to pick up more stacks on the old book. So.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Stav just once that first scatter missed, just go on him at that point because you're not running away. So eventually just chases him down once the cooldown's back up. And yeah, Stanley had 1 death, but he's rolling again. Probably should just be a Baron pretty soon, I would think. And if you get that, I think the game gets pretty out of reach for the others to decide. So if Rats can prevent the Baron from happening, I think they definitely still have the ability to kind of stay in this. But that's probably where you have to draw the line in the sand, is you can't give Baron and you can't give Ocean Soul.
Yeah.
Fight for those.
Yeah. Looks like it could be a Frozen Heart next for Blake as well. Just going like this AP tanky Nasus setup. I have no idea what his stacks look like, but it can't be that high.
I like it though. I mean, he recognizes he doesn't have to be the carry here. You have 2 super fed carries, and just put the Wither on the priority targets, find some poke damage, be tanky. Like, it's doing so much work.
Yeah, I get a lot of... It's a very funny setup. Looks like they are just going to opt to start with the Baron here for the side of the Milky Way. Yeah, arrow does go wide. Another great scatter of the week from the side of Milky Way. But Zac does manage to find the Ashe and is just getting locked up. huge setup from the side of the Rats here. Super good engage for um, the Rats, and they're trying to extend this even further, but Blake is here. Stanley is still pretty full HP, and we'll have to see if the Rats are able to kite out this Nasus and the Syndra together. So it looks like another scatter of the week found. E coming out from the Zac and just barely manages to scrape it out. 3 for 1 though, you will take those as the side of the Rats.
Yeah, 3 for 1's huge there. Stanley had a great scatter to start it, but then Jacob had a massive ult on the Renata. Like, that was a game-changing ultimate.
Yeah,
But
super good
unfortunately, at
ulti.
that point, Stanley still had flash. He dodges the engage, and at that point, you don't have enough health bar left to kind of keep chasing. So 3 for
Yeah.
1, you take that all day. If you can do that again, well, now Stanley doesn't have flash. Dean doesn't have flash.
But
And here's the flash.
they
Big
were
cut.
on vision. A good combo from Apari here, and another pick onto the Syndra. There might be an angle onto the Nasus as well. The E coming out, but unfortunately, I don't know if they have enough gas in the tank to kill this Nasus now. So
Yeah. Literally, before I could even say it, they end up punishing Stanley for no flash, and
yeah,
they
but
must have
there
watched
is a
last game
Baron
and-
angle potentially, but also they have to contest this
Yeah.
Ocean Soul. So this is like one of those really rough spots in the game where like you know you have to contest the Baron, but you can't also contest the Ocean. And it looks like another great pick from the side of Milky Way, and they should just be able to get all of their cooldowns here at the very least. Another great corporate
Huge
takeover from the Renata, and Zac's in the middle of 5 of them, but I don't know if the Kalista is able to play these fights because the Wither has been dropped on her and she just is not able to output DPS. And it looks like it should just be a clean sweep for Milky Way.
Yeah, Gwen with no ghost, no ultimate that time around makes that a lot harder of a fight, even with such a good Renata ult.
Yeah, I think this is like what you're talking about though. Like if Akshan had went on hit here, I think you can potentially play for like another ADC win con if like the Kalista gets slowed. But since you opted for this like lethality setup, it's just even harder to play these fights.
Yeah, I've never really seen this. I don't know if it's like a... Maybe it makes your, like when you're doing the swing and stuff, it's just a lot of burst damage, but yeah, I think what you're saying, if you had another traditional ADC here, you might have a better chance in these fights.
Yeah, and just another great arrow from Dean, just trying to chip out the Gwen. But you also have Ocean Soul now on this Nasus, on this Sejuani, so you're so chilling right now. These two are so hard to remove from the fight, so.
I do want to say, Milky Way's looking like they're in a really strong position, but, we kind of saw that a little bit of last game, too. You're not up against, like, a Felio scaling this time around, so I don't think I'm not saying that by any means, but I want to see him close this out cleanly, because, you had a Fed Syndra last game. You had a Fed another carry as well last game, and you weren't able to close it out, so gonna have to kind of watch him here.
Yeah, just try to play it a little cleaner, get these Barons, take the towers. Don't, like, overstay for no reason, and give shutdowns for no reason, so hopefully they're able to do that. Dean is sort of caught out here. Hadiri does get an angle onto him. Okay. Another shutdown going on to Hadiri, but Blake is here. The bailout does save him, but not for very long, as he isn't able to get a shutdown in response, and it looks like another Wither coming out onto the Kalista here. Apari is going to look for the E engage, but they just choose to back off instead.
I mean, we saw the value of the Akshan build there, I suppose. Like, he was able to kind of burst Dean out quickly, so I do see what he was going for with that.
Yeah.
When you get behind, that kind of a playstyle is really hard to pull off.
Yeah, assassin setups are, like, super hard to play. And I think you have a comp that is decent at front to backing, so I feel like you should have just played for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and it looks like Milky Way is going to attempt to start the Baron again while they're here. Not much can really be done. Blake can buy so much time for the side of Milky Way, just throwing down these E's and shit. So only 315 stacks, I believe, on the Nasus. So Qs aren't doing a whole lot, but you're not really playing for that. Does drop the ulti, and they aren't able to shred him just quite yet because of how the Ballista is just attack speed slowed forever, and then Stanley shows up with a really good scout of the week to pick up too. But they are just also doing the Baron at the same time, so they do manage to pick up that in response for 2. So you kind of take those every day of the week.
Yeah. I mean, damn. The Nexus is doing so much work against this team composition.
Yeah, I do really like this Nasus pick. So.
Yeah, I was questioning Nasus blind, but I mean, if you're just this flexible in your playstyle with it, and you're always gonna be able to find value, why not? Might get to an Elder fight in 3 minutes, but honestly, I think if they group up with the Baron and just take a good front-to-back team fight as the side of Milky Way, I think you can kind of just end the game quickly.
Yeah.
Because you're not really killing any of the tanks with the Ocean Soul if it's like a front-to-back and the only person hitting him is the Lethality Akshan and the Withered Callista.
Yeah, Akshan did also opt for the Wit's End for some defensiveness into the Syndra. It's like a weird item to try to slot into your build because it's like more on hit than like the lethality setup. So
Yeah, it would have fit more with the other build, but kind of just feels like he has to have some MR. But I mean, at this point,
yeah.
if
Hadir is
hit
looking for an assassinate here. Dean is sort of baiting right now. A good scatter of the week from Stanley and another TP coming in from Blake here.
yeah,
They are fishing for this pick, but
yeah, Dean's kind of disrespecting the Akshan invis. That's twice now he's kind of gotten run up on. Kind of surprised.
yeah, Stanley is doing a good job of playing like the defensive line here, just making sure that he can't get full comboed on. Looks like they might just try to march it mid and play for the fight. Another huge scatter of the week, finding another pick onto Jacob, having to burn the Fate's Call there. And it looks like they might just try to siege it, and like he's able to play so much zone here with like the Leona and the potentials to Sejuani follow up. So another Renata ult used, but they don't really have enough follow up, and looks like they might just be able to end the game. The Zac passive is burned, and it looks like he should be going down here to the Ashe damage. Another tower going down, and it looks like this could be an end angle. Another pick onto the Callisto from the Syndra, good ulti, and looks like it's just over, utilizing that fucking Ocean and Baron buff to just end the game. Super well played from Milky Way.
Yeah, really, really good game out of them. I'm super excited to watch the match tomorrow now, the Fearless draft.
Yeah.
And I think I have a lot of questions, you know?
Yeah,
we saw
I'm
Alana on the
curious to see.
Sejuani constantly, and she's playing super well, so if it's open, pick it, but you don't have that
Yeah.
in a Fearless draft. Stanley, the Syndra is looking so good, but I mean, you could put one ban phase to banning control mages, and now Stanley's kind of pushed really far in his pool.
Yeah, I am
And
curious to see how it's going to shake out tomorrow. Yeah.
But I think we have our clear two best teams. Like, I'm really hyped for that matchup. You saw Midwives run the lower bracket. You saw Milky Way go through the upper bracket and then have a pretty dominating performance after getting that one knockdown.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a super, super good matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm super excited to watch tomorrow's games. So
Potentially going to end up seeing a best of 5 between these two teams, as they've already played each other twice throughout this series throughout the bracket, and they've each won a game. So you're going into a best of 5 basically with one game apiece. But yeah, be sure to tune in 8 p.m. tomorrow to catch the Fearless Draft. First time we've done it. Should be really exciting. Should make for a pretty good viewing experience. Grew or Jar cast is yours if you want it tomorrow. But if anyone else is looking to, just shoot me a message or whatever, and we can get it figured out. But
Awesome.
Thanks again, everyone, for watching. And thanks, Gruer, for hopping in on the cast. And thanks, Mason, for staying on for yesterday. But we'll cut it off here. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Peace.
bye.